Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Summoners War European League 2025. It's time for our playoffs. Of course, it's me, Sam, joined not only remotely, but in person. Look, we're real. We can touch each other.
It works.
She's here with me.
7 weeks.
Exactly, 7 weeks keeping us apart, and now they decided, let's bring these guys together and have fireworks in real life, because we're here for our playoff matches. So it's all coming in to today and tomorrow. Knockouts are there. No more league. None of this best of 2 action anymore. Best of 7. How do you think they're feeling right now, getting ready for this weekend?
I definitely think it's a lot more stressful because before you had the possibility of 2 complete different drafts, but now you have the possibility of a repeat of the draft. Because in a match 1, a match 3, a match 5, and even a match 7, you could have exactly the same picks, bans, and pre-bans. Then again, people also have more time to adapt, because at some point you know it's like, okay, these units were off-will, these units were on-will. How do I adapt to that? Maybe I don't need a double AoE strippers, but I can just work with 2 single target strippers. Only others are off-will. There's so much to study during a match. And then the big question is, who can do that better today?
Exactly. Who's done the homework? Who can do your homework live as well, like you're saying there, and understanding and adapting? If you don't know it already, where have you been? We've had the Summoners War European League every single Wednesday, and a Thursday thrown in there for good measure very recently, over the past 7 weeks, all leading up to this playoffs, where our players are trying to get their hands on some of that 10,000 euros. Looking back, this was how our leaderboard ended last week, say. Some great point differences going into it as well. And those top 8 players that have made it through into this weekend. Those 4 playing today: Charge, Tech, Best Spoon, and Scribble Bibble. And the others still to come today, Slay and Crispy Bacon as well.
Absolutely, and I do want to point out, 11 points was the points to be aiming for. There were 11 matches for all of these players, so if you were drawing every match, you made it to the top 8.
Exactly. You've managed to make it there, and this is how it looks going into our knockout tournament. Remember now, doesn't matter if you can't get a draw. You either win or you lose, and you're needing to get through to those next rounds in the competition. Charge, Scribble Bibble, Tech, Best Spoon, Slay, and Crispy Bacon all playing today. All of this was dictated on how high you got in that leaderboard, which is why Pinkroyd and Malignant, we're not going to be seeing them until tomorrow. They've got to buy all the way through and can, like you said, do some homework on the matches that they're seeing today, exactly how it's going to get on. It's a long way to get to that final from current matches today. It didn't happen last year. It was the winners that kind of got through to the final again to win. However, this year, say, who are you favouring? Who do you want to have maybe an underdog story from today?
For today, I would really like to see how Scribble does. He did pull another LD5 just here on the sofa sitting with us here in Berlin. So he definitely has one of those added to his belt. But then again, is it really usable? That's the big question. Does Charge know? Well, they're in the same guild, so probably Charge does know on that one. And even my guild knew after 1 minute. So the Summoners War gossip travels very fast. So that's definitely a thing right there. But then again, I would say Scribble has a good chance on it. But then again, Slay has been doing very well. Coming in as a G2 player, actually ranking up until number 3 position, having that bye for that first round. And he's also shown that he's very good at studying the opponents. And he does actually have a decent amount of time watching potentially, 4 to 7 matches on the next opponent coming up. And also having the chance to rerun on that. Maybe talk to some people. It's like, hey, what should I do on that? There's a lot of options for him to think about while looking at that first match. So might be one of those people to look forward to playing.
Definitely. It's going to be so intense. Best of 7. Obviously, it's so many sets that you need to kind of get some good points into there, right? Best of 2, you could draw. You could win 1, lose 1, you're fine. We split it even. Here, best of 7. If you can get a good 3-0 at the start already, a reverse sweep to a 4-3 sounds out of the question in most of these times. But here it is. Our first match is going to be between Charge and Scribble Bibble. Respectively, I think they were in, 5th and 8th from the end of the league in terms of the positioning. So again, just getting in, but you're still in. That's all that matters. You got in. How are you going to perform in this right now? And we can see some of these stats, and I know you love them, Say, and you're eager to just shout them out next to me, so go for it.
Yeah, definitely was interesting to see is the Akroma is actually sitting at the lowest win rate. And we'll see Scribble's win rates later as well. And Akroma is also, once again, the lowest performing right now. It's not by all means a bad unit, but it's just slightly working worse in current meta. And it's been dragged over from a meta that was slightly earlier. A lot of AoE CC kind of style. And then the Akroma is really good. But if you're comfortable with the unit, you keep drafting it, and then you get to a point it's like, hey, wait, in current meta, it's actually not using that well anymore. So once again, we also see that Chroma here on the worst spot. But also, funny enough, Scribbleville was starting to pick up the Cigar the moment Cigar got nerfed. That's the point where most people drop that unit off. It's like, okay, then I don't use it anymore. So I was like, let me actually use that a lot more. But in the end, 43% win rate doesn't show that well. Units that do actually show well is that Burkill, still on a high win rate, even though it has been slightly nerfed as well. Meaning, buffed unit, it's definitely showing very strong in here. But it does show that the units that are very popular for the resets, also that Sekhmet, are doing too well for Scribblebibble. So the big question is he still going to be using that? On the other side, we see Charge on the Jeongnam most picked unit. Yeah. Also took a bit of a hit on that balance patch, and ever since we haven't seen it too much in the day 7. But then the question is it going to be replaced by units that we're actually seeing in the balance patch, as Fire Megami? We're talking with Nobara, we're talking Shio. We did actually see a decent amount of Shio. Was a little bit underperforming in day 7, but we also saw a lot of Okeanos. That did actually perform pretty well.
Exactly. We're going to be finding out very, very soon as well, because we're going to be going straight into this first matchup. Why did Scribblebibble refuse to charge his opponent? Because his stick arms couldn't carry the momentum. Let's find out if they can today. I can assure you he has ironed his t-shirt for this match as well, at least. Pre-ban's already coming in. Miles pre-banned and that Yonhong. We've heard before that Yonhong wasn't even ruined up from Scribblebibble in previous matches in the week. But maybe it would have been for today, so maybe it's a good read from Charge.
I definitely do think, like, respecting LDs is always a good thing. But having a Miles pre-ban always shows, like, I have a specific plan for this match. Charge, once again, comfortable units. Mostly what we've seen those first few picks, speed lead. So we're talking Olivers, we're talking Twin Angels, we're talking Sierras, more from time to time. Chandras, those are mostly the first picks that we're looking at. Charge already locked in that Oliver. On the other side, we do see a Sierra and a Sekhmet.
New looking Sierra as well there, looking very pretty in a new thumbnail going through. Sekhmet as well, so we saw the win rates. Wasn't so good from the stats, but if Sekhmet lands in a situation like this, she could be the queen of the whole match. Juno, again, another one that was on a low win rate, actually, from Charge. I think it was at 33%. This is, are we just playing low win rates and see who wins?
Well, it's definitely an option, but I do like the Juno into what's on the field on the side of Scribble. Also, it gives more potential for the Akroma actually to be good. But we also have that Miying once again coming in. So we already have the counter to the stunts by the 2 units on the side of Charge's field. So we're definitely going into a little bit more of a Bruiser style on the left side right now. Let's see if Scribble answers to continue on a Bruiser style. Actually, yes, that seems more Bruiser style. But I've mentioned this unit before. I am not a big fan of the Fire Twin Angels without the Water Twin Angels. Sure, Scribble could still pick up a second speed lead as in that Water Twin Angels. It is good to okay with Irene, but I really like the pair of them too, because in that case, the Fire Twin Angels doesn't have that double off turn of just using skill 1, skill 1.
Exactly, Irene popping up as well. There we are as well. Fire Megumi coming out. Well, I mean, we've seen how much it's been impacted from that balance patch as well. So we are looking at a bit more Bruiser, like you said. And at the moment, if you've taken away some of the damage from a Miying, where else is it going to come from?
Yeah, it's definitely the big question on Charge's side. Is there enough damage? But then again, Scribble's not showing any kind of healing yet. He could lock in a healing potential on that slot 5. Whereas Charge has a little bit of chip healing from that Miying, has the potential healing from that Juno. So I'm actually slightly favoring the draft of Charge right now. It is a big question. How well can a Sekhmet perform, but also Irene? It's kind of the same unit. If it lands, it's super good. If it doesn't land, it's like, yeah, why did I draft that one over there? But let's see if he actually wants to contest more on speed, because if he bans out that Athena, he could probably contest speed without picking a speed lead in that 5th. Does actually go for the speed lead? No, actually goes back to the Jeongnam. Interesting pick right there, but that definitely does signal an Athena ban on the side of Charge.
Yep, he's still got that high base speed as well from Scribble, but with that Sekhmet, like we were saying, Fire Twin Angels could have been partnered with the brothers there as well, could have been interesting. Jeongnam, recently, yeah, nerfed, let's say, in that balance patch as well. Different kind of cycling now through into that skill 3. Bans coming in. Last 5, what do you reckon?
I would say Athena. Other side, I think there's a lot of options. Probably you go for Irene or Sekhmet, maybe even the Sierra.
Let's find out. Locking in. It is going to be that Irene, meaning Sekhmet is going to be on the field. Can she do things for Scribblebibble? Speed leads for both Charge and Scribble as well, going into our Summoners War European League playoffs. Round 1, match 1 between Charge and Scribblebibble. And the question is, can she make her win rate higher here, say?
Yeah, let's see. Also, Oliver takes an off turn, because Oliver's taking a turn into not full immunity, because Sekhmet is still resettable right now, because she didn't decide to steal one of those immunities right here. So the only thing you were supposed to do is just hit that. But right now, can you already lock in some good damage? So actually goes for a little bit of a counter chance right there.
Yeah, are we going to be seeing some strips maybe coming out on the side from Juno? Does go for it. Only one, though.
only one that did not really connect it. Is this the position where you just go for your stuns? Sure, the Miying will go for the skill. I think he should have went for the skill 3 over there. Well, you still have a chance to go for a skill 3. Maybe that was all Scribble's plan right there. Because if you do that right now, you can connect the bomb and then make the bomb stun again. No, actually, decides against it. Doesn't go for it. Is he gonna try to take out the Megami right now? Because if you land the bomb right now on the Megami, you go for the explode. You still does not connect that Sierra. So that whole plan did not work. A counter but an additional turn. So Scribble's already sitting at 2 additional turns. So we're definitely looking at a 27 rate on the side of Charge.
Can this do it? Can the Fire Twin Angels get this Megumi off the field?
I don't think so. You need very good damage. He's gonna try it. That's a third. A Scribble. What are you doing, sir? This is not something. He does take it out with all of those additional turns. But then again, that is definitely 12% rate for Scribble right now. It probably will take a little bit of extra time to get additional turns. And Charge was sitting at that 27. Then again, all of taking these turns in that position doesn't really help that much. But the damage of Miying definitely does help a lot.
Get some healing in. Get some good stuns. I mean, Miying had that passive, so can still do the damage right now. Do you land it this time? You do get it. And the skill 3 is on cooltime.
Yep, you go for it. The bombs don't miss, but also the damage from that Sierra. That is so much HP gone. If you had skills right now, you wouldn't be able to take it out. Actually goes for skill 1. With that skill 1, does do close to enough damage. Skill 2 takes it out. Are we looking at heal blocks? We do have a heal block on that Oliver. The moment you have heal block on that Oliver, you're definitely looking in the driver's seats right now. So I would say the violent procs in the end definitely helped out a lot, taking out that first unit. That Megami just didn't have that much to say against a Twin Angels, taking so many extra turns. And in the end, sure, Juno could perform a decent amount of a solo, but there's just too many units to go through right now.
Juno, right now, you are up against a Jongnam as well. Nerf, but still, that skill 2 coming through. Skill 3 to get some more healing. But if you're getting some good counters here and stuns, you could be on the uprise.
Yeah, it might be, and definitely it's the good option to go for those Twin Angels, because the Twin Angels are most damage that Scribble could do. Not taking it out. That is a lot of room quality coming into that unit right now. You definitely have to go for skill 3 right now, because it's the only skill from Sekhmet not doing any damage. You still want to go for the skill 3 because of that healing. Does actually get a double resistance, which is definitely something that... Okay, it's working out for the resistance, but the pushback wasn't actually there. Skill 2 is something you do want to use, but mostly want to use at the moment that the speed buff is already there, so you can steal the speed buff for yourself. Let's see, how much damage are we doing? Are we healing more? Resistant! That is where the first time where a segment is being inconsistent, and you want the segment to be inconsistent. So I definitely do think that Scribble would take this, unless this Jongnam is going to get a lot of stuns. Skill 1, does it connect? Does not connect.
You've got skill 2.
Skill 2,
skill
it's
2.
over.
Come on, Jongnam. 4 Scribble Bibble there. And he has secured it. 1-0 in that first set against Charge. That was a real roller coaster. Like, we went from very, oh yeah, okay, Scribble's got this, to a few extra violent procs going through. Then Charge is coming back with a Juno. I mean, you can't count for some of that stuff happening.
Absolutely, and especially that Juno almost took it back. It was that the Jongnam was still showing too much strength against it. But it's also that segment, the moment you don't want her to land, she did exactly that for Scribble as well. Those skill ones were just not connecting. And that's where you get more speed buffs. That's where you get more healing. And Charge does show he has a very strong Juno. And that might be one of those units that could normally take it out. So still a really strong unit. But in the end, it was just doing way too much damage. I would say, however, either that Sierra was on a lot of damage, or that Miying was pretty squishy, because that one bomb from the Sierra just took out like 80% life of that Miying.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, we don't know right now, but pre-bans have come in there already. Then we've got those Fire Twin Angels causing a lot of issues for Charge in the end of that, of his last set, obviously doing so much damage through to the Miyings and the other units on the field. Oliver being taken out from Scribble Bibble, doesn't want to face off against a speed lead, and that's the throwback. Miles' first pick.
So what we actually have seen before with mainly players that are very focused on Vanessas, where you have a Vanessa steal into a Vanessa pre-ban or the other way around. Scribble's actually doing this right now with Miles, which is interesting to see.
Yeah, taking the Miles, and he's partnering it up with that Ciara and the Yonhong as well. I'd say a bit more classic from Scribble Bibble coming in. Charge responding with some high base speed and some speed leads in there as well. He's going to be looking to maybe secure another one.
Yeah, it's definitely curious to see if he goes for another speed lead right now, because Twin Angels is an option. Also, the draft of Charge pretty much goes a little bit all ways. So it's not necessarily super hard countering something, but it's also kind of very all-round that it could be countering a lot of things.
I like it. Oh, okay. We're throwing it up to some passives right now.
Definitely. I do like the Phalantus in here because it disables the Athna to go for skill 2. It's always also the big question, where does this Viva Shell move? Because if Viva Shell moves at a wrong moment, the Song of Destiny is very strong. But then again, the question is that Douglas going to be enough? Because in the end, the Fire Megami has a attack break on skill 1. But then again, we have a Nobara being locked in, which is very strong against the Valantis. But then again, with the healing of the the Yan Hong.
Yeah.
I think the healing of the Yan Hong might outpace that damage that the Wind Nobara would do. So I'm not too sure about that unit right here.
Yeah, let's find out. He's deciding whether he actually wants to lock that in, and it is going to be present right now. Maybe it signals you have to take out that Douglas.
Yeah, it's kind of the big question on there, because the Douglas with the Vampire, that's also something that makes the Nobara just work worse. So it's kind of a gamble pick right there, and maybe baiting your opponent to have it banned out. No, we actually have the Nobara still in the field, and we take that Vivachill out, which I do think is a great take right there. Because now we have the Atna into a Valantis, which might be very good for Scribble here, right here.
Let's find out. It's our set number 2 between Charge and Scribble Bibble. 1-0 currently to Scribble Bibble, but can Charge look to get a point back as he's taking first turn with that Etna, looking for the skill 2, coming into the skill 3, looking to stun, right?
Yeah, you definitely want to go for that Yan Hong, most likely. Let's see where he wants to aim that skill at. Valantis decided to not do anything at that position. Goes for the Yan Hong. Definitely under that 50%, so takes it away. Then again, where is the first focus from Scribble gonna go to? You could go for a strip on that Atna, but the moment you do anything right now that is not on the Megami, that Megami would have taken a turn.
Yeah, managed to get a big stun onto it there. Right now, you can look to even try and set up a defense break. Does get it on that CR as well. If you use skill 3, Nobara's coming soon.
Yeah, that is the dangerous part right now, but also the Nobara does have the Provoke, and the Provoke is actually fully uncontested. Does further go for the skill 3, actually lands the Provoke as his own, which does make it, the Nobara normally doesn't take a turn, but it takes the additional turn, gets the Provoke, is glanced however, but that's a lot of HP being gone right there.
That's one turn that has just taken half the HP from all of Scribble Bibble right there. It's going to be uphill. Megumi, are you going to be able to stun as well?
Well, as long as the Megami stuns, we also have the Atna on an attack buff, skill 2 coming in, and Scribble does know that. If that Atna went for skill 2 with an attack buff, cycled again, all of his units would have been dead. So actually, in the end, the Nobara did show a lot more strength right there, but also, as in the first match where Scribble had very crucial Violet procs, it evened out right now with Charge also getting those right here.
Definitely, but I mean, you saw the strength there from that Nobara. Valantis landing a 2-turn glance. 2-turn glance has just resulted in him getting half of his HP stolen on the whole team.
Yep.
Like, you have to play around that. Pre-bans are same as that first set now. Do you think we're going to have a repeat from there?
Yeah, let's see, because Charge might feel like he got unlucky in that first round, and mostly the player that feels like, hey, I was unlucky, would run down the same draft as in the first or in the previous round. No, actually goes for switching up, because we did not see a Vanessa in that pick right there. So it's definitely going for a little bit of a different style, where Charge can go any kind of way, where the Atna, once again, is really strong.
Yeah. Very strong. Ciara being picked out there. We've seen it partnered before with the Yonhong, obviously in the pre-ban as well this time around. Changing things up, are we going to see some double? Oh, we're going back to that Cigar then. Scribble does not want to give up on that unit.
Yeah, let's see how that works out. It's definitely an opener for an Atna once again to be strong. It does also mean that the Valantis will probably be in play. That also does mean that we probably go back to a Nobara. So those are the units that we can kind of predict from just seeing this Atna right here on the playfield. But let's see what he would like to pair that up with, because a Juno is definitely a strong unit that could be over here. Also, a really strong pair on a Nobara is a Juno Nobara. So having that already in slot 3 might not be bad, but let's see if it goes for it. No, it goes back to the Irene.
Yeah, changing things up a little bit there. Signaling that if we want to bruise a little bit, we can start to take it a little bit slower. Scribble Bibble right now has that 3rd and 4th pick. If you're picking something with any AoE debuff right now, you know a Nobara is going to be coming out in that 4th and 5th from Charge. Scribble Bibble, how's he going to turn that around? Are we looking for some snipes coming out?
Well, snipe is very difficult into a 33 Atna, because 33 Atna is pretty much the highest base you can get in the game. And actually goes for a steal on that Vivachill.
Oh.
But then again, Charge already has 3 single target strips, so it is kind of hard to draft in something like that, I would say. Adding in a Marsha, that's a lot of damage coming in right there. But does he lock in another speed unit? Because that's going to be the big question. If he doesn't go for another speed lead or another speed unit, he will give that first turn most likely to either the 5th pick of Scribble or to the Twin Angels.
Definitely. He's taking his full amount of time then to really consider right now if it's going to be the unit they want. Wedge at taking in a speed lead, very fast unit as well. Scribble Bibble, how are you going to respond? You've got speed leads already. Maybe another high base speed if you really want to contest.
Yeah, if you go for something that you want to ban the Athna right now, but let's say that you go for a Robo right now, it's probably slower than that Wadjet. So he actually goes back to the Volantis. Is really good into the Athena, but then the big question is that going to be on the field if you, for example, ban out that Irene? Could be a good option, but there's a lot of good options right here. So the two gentlemen do make the ban phase very difficult.
Yeah, very difficult. Like you said, Scribble Bibble, that Volantis, when there was an Abara on the field, makes it super tough. Right now, wouldn't find it as tough with all of it coming through. Going into those bans, like you said, if you go for that Etna, how are you going to partner it? This is the mind games of a third set right now. You get an extra point now and you're that one step closer to getting through. We've got the Volantis ban and the Wedgejet ban, so speed leads for both of our guys going in to the Summoners War European League playoffs. This is set 3 between Charge and Scribble Bibble, 1 point apiece so far. Who can look to take it over now? Etna going first. You can cycle.
Yeah, you can freely cycle, and I'm not sure if I really like that Wadjet ban right there, because Wadjet was not one of the 3 units that could go for a single target strip. Now you still have 3 units on the enemy side with a single target strip, so that's potentially 1 in the back, 1 being stunned, and 1 being armor broken with a Marcia moving right after. That is a potential losing 3 units. So that is just a very bad position to start off with, whereas if the Volantis was on the field, this would not have happened.
No, it wouldn't. And right now, this is the moment. Cigar needs to get some provokes, get some cool times round, because he needs to keep that Ciara alive. Bomb Vanessa? Do you get it?
Does actually get it, but I'm looking at that Athena. Even if you take that out, that's a very tanky Vanessa right there as well. But the Athena, once again, goes for the cycling armor breaks. Where we connect them, we connect armor breaks on nearly every unit right there. There's just so much damage. And I'm pretty sure a Volantis on the field would have never enabled this much as just the units of Scribble dying right now.
Exactly. He can look. Well, he's going to use a Song of Destiny there to get the Irene off of the field right now, but he's not going to be able to take a turn for a little while.
No, definitely not. And this Marcia definitely does take a turn, and it's going to take out this Cigar, and it's going to be taking out that next unit right after that. And we have a second victory going to Charge.
Wow, Charge doing a early reverse sweep right now. There's still another potential 2 sets on the table for both of our guys here. I think you could see there Scribble kind of a few misplays too many there, not understanding exactly how it could have been set up, and Charge just one after another, a domino effect. Right, I'll strip you, I'll take you out of the field, I'll strip you again, defense break, you're out. How does Scribble recompose now?
Well, it was mainly on that ban, because if you have 2 units with single target strips and potential single target kills right there, Athena pre-ban is definitely one of those options as well. But if you take out one of the units that not potentially goes for the strip, you're not really protecting any of your units. Sure, in the longer drawn-out fight, Wadjet could have maybe done more than some of the other units. But in the early fight, he was losing that many units already that you simply had to ban either the Athena or one of those units that just simply took something out. Scribble, once again, going for that CR first back. And Charge actually has been seeing, like, hey, that Vanessa has been giving me wins. Let me just run a winning team.
Exactly. Don't change it if it ain't broke. And that's not happened for the past 2 sets there for Charge. Partnering up again with another Irene there. Scribble Bibble going back to Sekhmet. You've got, again, maybe a little bit of a challenge for this first turn at the moment.
Yeah, definitely an option right there. It's also the big question, where does Charge put his other fast sets on? Because Scribble already has been showing a few with that Sekhmet, with that Yan Hong. It's also available right now. Charge thus far only has shown it on his Athena, but he definitely has more sets. Could be on an Asher, but also could be on other kind of units that are still very fast.
Definitely. I mean, Sekhmet being out on that field scares me with the AoE as well. There's an Abara potential for Charge as well right now, taking another 33 speed lead at the moment. Maybe you want to partner another high base speed unit, but there's no Etna available anymore in this round.
Definitely not. This is also one of those drafts. A Juno plus an Acroma is pretty decent into the 3 units on the field. But it is a little bit tricky if it's going to be good enough in this meta. We once again go back to that Miying.
Miying coming out. We know how much damage can come out from him as well. Yan Hong, you're going to get some sustain in there. You're going to get some good damage coming out from skill 2 as well. I like that pick. Maybe there's still a contest for another speed lead, but you've got 2 on the side of Charge, but nothing to follow up after.
Yeah, it's the follow-up that's I'm kind of looking at. Sure, Oliver by itself is a lot of follow-up. You could go for a Fire Megami right now. Sure, it's not the greatest into a Miying, but if you get a double stun rotation, it's actually very good into Miying. So that is kind of the ways that you could work around with it. Now, actually goes back to a Volantis, which does give the option where you could ban out Scribble's speed lead on the side of that Sierra. And the big question is then, if that Irene is swift on a 33 lead, are you still going to be outspeeding units that have 0 base speed but very fast?
I'm seeing like Charge. There's potential for a Wind Abara as well here as well. You've got the Sekhmet with AoEs. You've got Volantis with AoEs coming out. I don't know how much damage you're going to be able to go in through. And there you see it. It's on the field. I think it's must ban.
Yeah, I think from what we've seen in that first round, it is must ban, and that's actually very quick ban. But now might exactly happen what I said before. Irene on 33 lead against the Yan Hong on 0 lead. Is that going to be outspeeding?
Yep, this is all about rune quality here then right now. How much speed are you carrying? Let's find out. Speed lead for Charge, HP lead for Scribblebibble. This is our Summoners War European League playoffs. It's a set 4, Charge 2-1 up against Scribblebibble right now. Who wins that speed test? Yeonhong still got it.
Yeonhong got it, but we actually have the Irene moving second. So the big question is right now, goes actually for the charge vitality on another Swift unit just to make sure that it's simply not moving and the Sekhmet does connect.
Yep, she gets it. Skill 2 is available. Good damage a little bit going into that Mi Ying right now. Looking to maybe land a defense break. Maybe on that Yeonhong?
Well, the thing is, if you go for a defense break right now, the Phalantus is moving right after. So it's more of the question, how much can the Phalantus land? Can we get provokes? Can we get stunts? We do get glancing. So it can make it. This reset is still going to land. But if you don't land the pushback, you also therefore don't get any attack bar.
Oh, didn't get it right there. You can look to try and stun again, but Mi Ying still has that passive as well right now. Maybe skill 2 into Vanessa, get a bit more damage going through.
You definitely don't want to go for a skill 3 at that moment because Mi Ying's passive also cleanses the unit with the lowest HP that is also stunned. In that case, the Irene would have been taken off their stun as well. Let's see armor breaks. We have a good amount of armor breaks, but not on that Vanessa just yet.
Not right now. You can look to land a glancing, but this skill 2, you don't want to stun that Mi Ying. And doesn't.
Doesn't stun the Mi Ying, but also in the process doesn't stun anything. Oliver can still go for just pushbacks or resets. Does not connect much of it, but still Oliver can do Oliver things very soon once again. 6.5k per hit from that Mi Ying is just doing so much damage right there. But then again, you can steal a little bit of those heal over times for there. Actually did not connect increased cooltime, so Oliver is looking to do Oliver things. Can you connect this pushback? Do you go on the Phalanx, which might potentially stun you?
Do you risk it? I mean, maybe it's worth it right now. Deciding against it, not getting the pushback, but Volantis coming up soon. I think skill 1 is the only available option for him for a little while, though.
Yeah, definitely. And you have to be stunning that Oliver because Oliver is without glancing right now. And that's where Oliver starts cycling.
Oh.
Does connect the stun, but Mi Ying has something to say about it with a lot of damage on that armor break.
Yeah, you can look. Oh, resisted on the Irene as well.
Irene, how far are you from your skills? I think it's very close to getting back to that skill 2 right there. Doesn't manage to stun it, gets the additional turn, no skills available. Skill 1, once again doesn't get it, but the additional turn is on the Oliver right now. Once again, do you go for the Phalantus right now? Does not go for the Phalantus, but we have a skill 2 up. However, well, you have to drop it on the Mi Ying. It's the only lively unit in your team right now.
Exactly, and look, you can just keep chip damaging through onto the enemy units of Scribble. Oh, that's stun!
It is the crucial stun you don't want to see. You want to see stuns coming right after this. You could steal a lot of buffs right now, but then again, you want to steal that threat stage, so you have to do it. But does it take it out? Does not take it out right there, but it's very close.
Yeah, and now a unit is probably going to be able to take it out right now, and it's back through the cycling for Irene. Let's eat away, getting away, rid of that Jongnam as well. It's not looking good for Scribble in this one now.
Absolutely not. You have to be looking at a lot of AoE stunts to simply make it work, and I think it's too far-fetched. Also, you could get a glancing over here. Does not connect the glancing, though. Scribble did actually wait with his skill. Does not connect the stunts. Skill 3. How much can we land in terms of stunts? Okay amount of stunts. But I'm looking at that Mi Ying right now. Mi Ying, do you take it out? Mi Ying does take it out. Takes the additional turn. Gets for the recovery just to play very safe right there. But he could have went in with skill 1 because he definitely would have won from that position already. And we actually have a 3 wins in a row for Charge, and actually that Vanessa has been enabling him very well altogether.
Definitely has. He's managed to get some sort of a reverse sweep going on here right now. Scribblebibble struggling to manage against the different units of Charge as well at the moment. That Mi Ying was just going absolutely ham, especially when you're on the other side of the field. You've seen a Volantis. Oh yeah, you can stun me up. Doesn't really matter. Oh, you're going to put some more debuffs on me? I'll just bring the Bara through then, and I'll double half you. I mean, maybe playing around this Melantis, we maybe can't in this next set if you Scribble.
It is difficult, but the Mi Ying is also one of those units, or any other player right now would have been like, I'm gonna be banning that Mi Ying. But if you have the Mi Ying, you never really want to ban it yourself. Like, you're not gonna be banning your own unit. But then it also means you have to be picking it earlier than your enemy, which might mean you pick it too early. So it's definitely a difficult setup right there. Charge, once again, he's feeling like, okay, Vanessa is giving me very consecutive wins. Let's just keep first picking that. It works.
Exactly. It's actually not a repeat of any of the pre-bans, I think, from here. We've had the Yeonhong with them Oliver this time instead of the Miles, which has been previously used by Scribblebibble there. We've seen Ciara pretty much all the time in that first pick. Maybe a Water Twin Angels. He's going to have to turn it around now. If he loses this set, the journey of the playoffs in the Summoners War European League is over. There's all to play for right now, and he's going back to a Miles.
Yeah, Miles is definitely an interesting one to see right there. Also, it once again just shows full opening for that Atna. Let's see what Charge pairs it up with this time, because there's a lot of options. I don't think he would go for Miying this early, but so far it's been showing that good of results. He might actually do it.
Yeah, maybe he does at this point already. We've got Etna, like you said, on the field so far. He's been doing a lot of like Irene as well. We've seen in this position before. Maybe you go back to that unit. Vivacho coming out. If we get the perfect timing, it could be very dangerous.
And once again, this is the position where Scribble just loves to use Volantis, but Volantis has not been performing so far. Actually, does steal in this case that Miying. It's not the greatest of positions for a Miying, but it's definitely one of those positions I don't want you to have it in your slot 4 and 5, so I'm going to be taking it already. We have the Sonya snipes coming in. Do you pair that with another speed lead? That is definitely an option, but then again, is that really a necessity? Because I think you're already decently fast. If you have a good Sonya, you will be taking out the Miying or that Sierra right there.
Definitely. I mean, he's changed it up there, Charge. I mean, I think before maybe he was probably betting on that an Etna might have been banned out, but if you've got another unit that can snipe one out, Sonya is always up there for contesting and taking away maybe more of a steal on that Jongnam as well, not allowing Scribble to have it in that 5th pick, which actually won him the very first set, which feels like a lifetime ago now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too sure about the Jongnam, because in the end, Jongnam against the units that he's showing, an Ethna and a Sonya, maybe not be that great. So I'm not too sure about the Jongnam pick as well into the Fire Twin Age, because it is an uptime of immunity that is pretty long. Plus against Miying, which is also not that great against. So there's a lot of units that are pretty decent into a Jongnam. So I'm not too sure about that pick right there. Volantis, once again, as a 5th pick, is very strong. But the big question is right now, are you going to be removing the Vanessa for the speed lead? Or are you going to be removing that Sonya for the damage?
Sonya's out as well as that Volantis as well. So we've got speed leads likely coming in for both Charge and Scribblebibble. This is last chance saloon right now for Scribblebibble. If he loses any of these sets, Charge is going to go through. And he'll have done a full reverse sweep right here. It's our Summoners War European League set 5 of the playoffs. Taking that first turn, Etna again, looking to cycle.
Do you go for the cycle? Do you right away go for stun on that Sierra? It's definitely 2 options, and both of them feel equally strong. Goes for the Shatter, does connect enough stuns to take that turn. Miles is looking very... Yeah, it's just like with that armor break. No, actually goes against it. Goes for the steal on that immunity, but a lot of damage towards that Sierra right there.
This could be some real timing coming in right now as well, with that Vivacho coming in straight after this Miles right now.
Not too sure about stunning the Jongnam, because in the end, stunning the Jongnam doesn't really set you up for too much besides not being potentially stunned yourself. But that Song of Destiny on a Miles, it is very deadly. Even a skill 1 would take it out right now.
Oh, glancing hit coming through. Didn't decide to try and go for the bounce right now. It's going to be whether Miying can stay on that field and start doing damage and get Etna away, right?
I think your only potential you have right now is going for the reset. Does not actually connect the reset. I was thinking about the reset into maybe an additional turn on that Miying, taking out that Ethna in one go. That would have maybe been an option, but right now that's not looking too great as well. But that additional turn is actually on that Vivacho. Also, that Ethna is showing a lot of stats in HP, because the Miying wasn't doing too much damage.
No, he wasn't. And right now, getting that skill 1, and it's going to get a bounce for Vanessa on that kill on Ciara.
Oh, that is a perfect bounce right there, removing that immunity. In this case, you can easily just go for skill 2 as well. Steal maybe something else, because you have that counter sitting over there, but Jongnam was still sitting on immunity, so wasn't doing all too much. So all eyes are on this Miying right now. Can you take it back? Additional turn to the Miying? No additional turn to that Miying. And we have a skill 3 capture for 8k per hit, taking out the units of Scribble and also taking Scribble out of the tournament.
Wow, Charge has literally charged through to the next round of our playoffs right here. Commiserations for Scribblebibble. I mean, you're still here. You got to the playoffs in the Summoners War European League. You were one of the top 8 in Europe so far to get through to that as well. So congratulations to him for being here. But Charge, wow. Taking note from that first set where he kind of lost and then just playing around whatever Scribblebibble was doing. He was like, oh, I'm seeing you, Volantis. Oh, he's a Nabara. Oh, I see that. I've got my Miying. Yep. Great play.
Absolutely, and was also mainly the Ethna enabling a lot. But I think even more that Vanessa was enabling so many things where Scribble just couldn't go for the snipes, couldn't really perform his own kind of draft style. And also that Irene, it once again showed Irene is always dangerous to play against. You kind of want to reset it, but then again, we have seen Sekhmet drop even more on win rate today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when Sekhmet does it, everybody loves her. When she doesn't, everybody hates her. Sadly, it's one or the other. But with a unit like that in certain cool times, it is like that. It's either it does work or it doesn't work. There's no in-betweens right there. And sadly for Scribblebibble, he will not be progressing through, as it is the knockouts now here in those playoffs. Best of 7s still to come. We've still got 3 more matches today as well before we're going into the very, very finals of the playoff tomorrow. I mean, still managing to get here. Kudos. I'm not there.
Absolutely.
We weren't there, you know.
I wasn't there. We were sitting over here.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
like my position over here, sitting over here. It's a lot more relaxing. It's less stressful.
Yeah, I mean, of course. And these guys putting it all on the line, still charge. Right now, like you were saying earlier as well, people are going to be doing their homework. The Slayer, who they're up against next, surely has been watching, seeing how strong that Vanessa was, the partnership with the Etna, like you were saying, knowing that there's pocket picks of a Nabara and the Megumi as well. Slayer, are you watching? You should, maybe not us, maybe you're watching the French guys, but you should be watching somewhere, right?
Absolutely. And also, I just checked earlier. Charge and Slay played a one-on-one, so they had a draw in their league days itself. So it was slightly bit of a different balance match, but it did show that both of the players can take a point against one another.
Yeah, then it's all up for grabs because a best of 7 is a lot longer than a best of 2, as we've just found out in that last one, 4-1. I mean, let's see if we can get some, like, not really patterns today, but I want to see some more patterns today. Are we going to get a 1-4 in the next one?
Well, it's also interesting to see where Charge won 4 times in a row. Like, you go best of 7, but winning 4 times in a row is really impressive. Like, if you see a 4-1, it's maybe like, oh, you won 2, you lost 1, and then you won another 2. No. You lost 1, and then you won 4 in a row. That's really impressive.
Definitely super impressive right there. And he's going to be joining Slay in that second round. It's going to be a match coming up still today, but before that, we will be having Tech versus Best Spoon. Again, 2 players have managed to get through all the way to the playoffs of our Summoners War European League. Maybe with some different kind of playstyles. I would say Best Spoon throughout kind of the matches so far has been tending to go towards stuff that's working for him on ladder, but maybe less as much on the European League, whereas Tech, a little bit of an unknown when it comes to that.
Yeah, definitely for Tech. He's been playing around with everything that's either Despair or Violent. But also what some people did mention is if you play Swift against him, I can outspeed you. Sure, where you normally think like, ooh, there's an Ethna, like, ooh, there's a secret. Those units are going to be fast. Now, in the case of Tech, they're actually not that fast. And that is maybe something that Best Spoon can utilize for that as well. Big question is also, how does that work out for Best Spoon? Because Best Spoon really does like to play around with that Laura, slightly down-tuned in the last balance patch as well, but I don't think it would change all too much for it. But also that's a light Gojo. But the big issue for Best Spoon is he's always losing one or the other towards a pre-ban. Also, I can see here on my left that these 2 players played as a 1-1 draw against one another. So they did play each other before, of course, but they did play in a draw. I do, however, see the unit that might be very crucial for Best Spoon in this matchup is that Light Pony. Because if your opponent likes to go for Ethna kind of units, he's not cycling that well against the Light Pony.
Interesting here, say, if you look at that, top 5 picked, 4 out of the top 5 picked units are 4 out of the 5 lowest win rate units there for Best Spoon. So I think it shows that when you're playing the stuff that everybody knows and is kind of knowing what you're playing from ladder or from anywhere else, it can be sometimes a bit easy and predictable to play against. Whereas the moments where you've picked something that they're not ready for, maybe something you can change up. Who's your favorite going into this one? No sitting on the fence.
I would have to give it to Best Spoon. We did see that Mieng being very strong, and I think the LDs that Best Spoon has does kind of hard counter the side of Tech. So I would have to give it to Best Spoon. But then again, we have seen Tech surprise people multiple times, so let's see if he can do that over here as well.
Let's find out. What is the best spoon in the world? A Spork. Serious Tech levels off the chart with that one. You can use it in every single way. Let's find out then. Pre-bans coming in for Tech and Best Spoon. I mean, 2 units that a lot of people would usually pre-ban.
Yeah, absolutely. In the Special League where pre-ban was there, Heigang was actually the most pre-banned unit. It's just the unit that people don't like to play against. So let's see what we have for first picks on the side of Tech. Speed leads, as always.
Yeah, and we've got similar response then coming in from Best Spoon, like Gojo and that Sekhmet. Sekhmet didn't do it for Scribble in that last one, but, you know, Best Spoon is a different player.
But also, I think if I remember his statistics correctly, Sekhmet was also not doing too well for Best Spoon altogether. So, same for that Gojo. So, actually, he's locking in 2 units already. By win rate, not doing too great. On the other side, we have Tech going for something that's kind of revolving around the new meta. We have double Twin Angels plus an Irene. Those units are very difficult to deal with.
Definitely difficult to deal with, but, I mean, so quick in the response from Best Spoon as well there. Drafting with purpose, knowing what he wants. Oliver coming in through, and that Jongnam Tech now with that 4th and 5th pick. You've not really got too much more speed contest since there's some very speedy units on the side of Best Spoon. Are you going to try a bruise now in 4th and 5th?
That definitely looks like a bruiser potential right now. With yeah, that's full bruiser right there. That is the passive. That is the newly buffed Megumi being super strong right now. And an Angela. I was also thinking something along the lines of a Gyu would also be very strong in the combination of a Oliver and a Jongnam. But then you go for a Veronica, and Veronica's definitely there to enable the Jongnam to do its things, to enable the Oliver to do it. But I don't think a Veronica would have been that great because most of the skills on the side of Tech are on pretty short cooldown, whereas a Gianna might do a lot more.
Yeah, if you can get one of those bombs off right there, going into some serious damage on the side of Tech. Bans right now, are you just going to try to get rid of some sustain?
Yeah, that's definitely one of the options right there. I think you have to go for the Gianna bomb because if the Gianna goes into the Oliver, you're looking at a very bad match. You could also therefore just ban out the Oliver. That's also a good option right there.
Oh, Megumi coming out and a Sekhmet as well. So we're going to be taking speed leads from Oliver and the Water Twin Angels into our Summoners War European League playoffs. Match 2, set 1 between Best Spoon and Tech. And that Light Gojo is going to be going first. How much can you do? Oh.
That actually does work pretty well. It's also interesting to see where we have the Jongnam outspeeding the Gianna. Even the Oliver is outspeeding the Gianna. So Gianna might be kind of on some kind of tech build. And that is something, it is a best of 7. That is something to remember on the side of Tech. You might be losing this match right now, but you have the knowledge of this Gianna being on a way slower build.
Exactly, you've got the options right now. Do you look to land the bomb? Getting it onto those Twin Angels, and it landed as well. Cycling through.
Cycling through, we still have an Angela on the field, and we do have a potential for this Irene to be on Violent. So how much can she does if she takes turns? If she were to take a Violent over there, match would have been wide open still.
Yeah, it would. You've gone for that skill 3, Gianna. Can you get some stuns? Big stuns on those 3 units. Angela's the only one missing everything.
Yeah, Angela is definitely on the 100 resistance right there, but the big question is there 85 accuracy on the enemy side? Oliver, how much of Oliver things can you do? If you land it over there right now, you remove your bomb, so maybe it would have been a better chance to reset something else to lower the HP over there, so at least still have the bomb going. We have that Violent on that Irene. Who are you going to lock out? Is it going to be that Oliver? Is it going to be that Jongnam? Those are the 2 targets. Gianna already used her skills. You don't really have to be looking at that. Did have land, so Oliver will come back with a full attack bar.
Yeah, he's going to come back with a full attack bar, and I think he had skill 3 as well. So it could come in at a clutch time for Best Spoon going into this next one right now. You can look to land a bomb, but you can't really go on the Fire Twin Angels. It's going to get cleansed soon, no?
Yeah, it's definitely going to get cleansed. It's also a good choice to land it elsewhere than right there. We also still have good skill 1 damage. We have an immunity setup potential right here, but the strips are coming in. Gianna's getting closer to her skill 3, but also that Gojo will have his skill 2 very soon. So, multi-shot, increase cooltime, connecting all 3.
Yeah, getting some shields, some good sustain coming in right now. Tech's kind of just holding fort, going through the damage that's coming, because Oliver's going to come on right now online, but immunity everywhere. It's not going to do too much.
Yeah, actually the time... Ooh, no, there's not immunity everywhere. This is the one additional turn you don't want to take, and this is going to cost you some of your cooldowns. Also, we have the Jongnam moving in front, but there is that threat state, so you can't really do all too much. You still have to be landing it on that threat state as of first. AoE stuns. Can we connect those AoE stuns? Because in the end, Tech doesn't really show too much of damage. The highest damage output on his team is actually that back from the Irene.
Oh, 2 out of 4 right there. Are you going to just try and get some damage going into that Gianna, or Oliver, can you take it out?
Gianna, good amount of damage right there, but it was not enough damage, and Gianna has the S2 into the S3 potential. However, the shields, she will take herself off the battlefield by hitting those shields on the side of that Angela.
Maybe it was still worth it, though. You've got some big stuns coming out. Good stuns as well followed up there. Oh, this is still all up in the air, say.
Absolutely. Big question is, well, this is the first time the Angela got stunned, and it was by wrong element. But right now, does actually manage to land the armor break wrong element as well. But there's not any... Everything is stunned at the moment. We have to be looking at where can we get some turns. Right now, at this position... Do you want to hit? Yeah, if you hit on the Fire Twin Angels right now, the cleanse would actually... Because now the cleanse still goes to the Water Twin Angels. You actually should have been hitting the other unit, so it would be lower on HP. But then again, Oliver is moving right after that.
Oh, resisted there a little bit. You can try and get some attack bar manipulation coming in from these Twin Angels right now. But what's got Jongnam got to say? Can you get a freeze? Maybe even additional turn into that skill 3 could be huge.
Could be huge. In this case, didn't happen. We have the Hollow Purple removing that armor break right there. Most of the time, doesn't do all too much damage. So we have the Angela. You need to take an additional turn. Does not take the additional turn, and therefore the bomb takes out the Irene. And Best Spoon is still sitting in the driver's seat.
Definitely is right now, but as these shields are coming through, Angela could just be super annoying on the field if the Twin Angels can keep boosting each other up to get more turns in.
Absolutely, but Jongnam, how many skills do you have? I do think he has the skill 2, but doesn't have the skill 3 as of yet. Actually, the other way around. AoE stuns, AoE absorb. Are we getting those? No, we actually do get a counter from that Angela, but it does not have enough attack bar to overtake this Oliver. Oliver absorbing the full attack bar and start cycling.
Yeah, look at that. Gojo coming in now. Skill 2. It's going to clean up one of the Twin Angels. Jongnan can look to clean up the other. Maybe just confirm your kills?
Yeah, this is definitely a position where I would say confirm the kills. In the end, I think it was a difficult position to get on from there, but it does show the Irene once again being so dangerous. It did took that additional turn, it took out one unit, and suddenly Tech was sitting a little bit in the drive seat himself. However, the big issue was he was not showing too much of damage. It was just the Twin Angels trying to get the damage in, it was the reflex from Angela getting the damage in, but it was all a little bit too much chip damage, and in the end, Jongnam is still a great healer.
Definitely is a great healer, and it's just taking time for that Jongnam to confirm the kill on the Angela. And Best Spoon taking that first set against Tech right there, say. I mean, it was kind of a battle of how long can I sustain on the side of Tech against all of the stuff that came out from Best Spoon right there. I mean, if those matches go a bit longer, something like an Angela just becomes so annoying. And if you're getting resisted on any of that stuff, you can't cycle anymore. I mean, like Gojo, are we going to have some sort of ban on the side of Tech, or do you think he wants to work around it?
No, I definitely do think that it's going to be cycling between the Light Gojo and the Laura for the bans, because we did notice that the Jongnam and the Oliver are very fast. Most likely 190, maybe even towards 200 on the extra speed on that. But that also show that the Gianna was way slower than those units. So the only two units that are most likely going to be outspeeding the Oliver and the Jongnam that Best Spoon likes to play on is going to be either a Light Gojo or a Laura right there. So those are definitely going to be the focus of the ban. But then again, if you pick that Heigang into a known Veronica owner, it is maybe not that great. And Best Spoon is definitely playing very well on outspeeding.
Definitely is. We've got that Ciara, we've got that Veronica coming out. Wow, we're seeing a Jemima even come out. Doesn't even look like a Jemima anymore, actually. I'm quite happy that I got the name out so fast.
Yeah, the Jemima actually looks really cool right there. Probably still has a skin, so it doesn't look like that in-game. And we actually have a Elsharion being locked in. Very interesting unit right there. But the big question is it going to be fast enough? Best Spoon locking in some speed leads right there, very fast. And a Sonya, once again, very fast. So this is looking at a way quicker match than we saw just now.
Yeah, and I think, in all honesty, drafting these in 4th and 5th from Best Spoon is just going to be banning that last pick as well. Just try and fire through it, and the Fire Megumi, I think, is going to be banned out anyway, right?
Yeah, I definitely do think that that is banned out. But on the other side, I do expect that Sonya being banned out. So there you have a Jemima into a Veronica. And that's always kind of the dangerous thing. Is your Jemima fast enough? Does it Nemesis enough? Does it move at the right tuning? Does it not move too early or anything like that? There's a lot of things that come to play with the Jemima. You could even force the turn with your Sekhmet at first, proc the Nemesis on it, and then it doesn't really work altogether as well. So in this case, I would go on the skill 3 on the Jemima. It looks really weird. Well, yeah, no, I actually still would go for it, because you might actually take in the turn where he gets too much attack bar. In this case, did connect the pushback, and that is the bad part about the Sekhmet. It was actually buffed to have a attack bar decrease. If that part was not the case, he would have had a better shot at it.
Yep, here we are. We've got that Sigrid taking a turn right now from the strip with the Heigang on the field. Doesn't get a defense break out there as well, but an Elsharion could pile in some damage.
It definitely could. Also, the interesting thing is Heigang is very good in this turn 1, but if you deny the turns for the buff on the Secret, then Heigang is only good for that turn 1. However, you still have immunity from the Elsharion, but so far it's not been showing too much of damage, because also a skill 3 right now wouldn't really do too much.
Oh, a Seal, even. Seal Jemima. I think that's an interesting take, and that's some good stuns.
Well, in that case, if it's Seal, it might still be Nemesis. Are we also looking at Nemesis? No, we're not looking at Nemesis. So it was Will, it is Seal. What is the third set? Because that's then definitely an interesting one right there. Might even be a double Seal, but we're getting the damage from that Elsharion right now. But then again, Oliver is starting to do all of the things starting this turn. Actually, that stun, I would have absolutely aimed that for the Oliver, because if you stun the Oliver right now, it would be very crucial. But the Elsharion was also on Will, so it's most likely not on Revenge.
Here we go. Skill 2's coming in from Sekhmet. You've got Glancing. Misses a lot as well there as well. But Veronica...
I take my words back, that Elsharion is on Will and on Revenge. That's also an option right there. But then again, we do already have enough dots on the Jemima right there. It's going to be taken out. Also, the damage on this Elsharion is not showing too much. It's definitely more of a bruiser Elsharion. And that might actually be the bad take, where it was able to take a decent amount of turns, but it just didn't really capitalize on taking those turns.
Yeah, here we are. Skill 3 coming through, getting the cool times as well from the Veronica. You can even just get some more damage coming in from Sekhmet right now. Is it enough?
No, you need a little bit more damage. I think this is like 11 or 12%, and Best Spoon does notice that as well. So he gets in the extra damage. I do think that this is going to be enough, however. But that Elsharion is just simply not doing the damage. Like 4k per hit, that is not too much. That was actually 11% right there. Do we get an additional? It does get the additional turn, but that is simply too many resets. all of the units on the side of Best Boon are simply just resetting cooldowns.
They are, and right now Oliver can look to do it as well. Get that attack bar down as well. And it's not looking good for Tech here. With that cycling coming through, Oliver, Veronica coming back online soon with some skill 2 as well. Glancing, but still.
Still, you have the additional damage artifacts, which still have a little bit of cap damage. Elsharan is actually showing that he can tank pretty well. But then again, if the Elsharan had a decent amount of damage, he might have been taking out units himself. In this case, he was just simply doing some 4k hits, which is just not really dealing anything where you would say like, okay, this is the damage you need to take out the enemy. Even if the enemy doesn't have any form of sustain, it is still not enough.
Exactly, not enough right there. And Best Spoon has come out with a 2-0 lead against Tech right now. I mean, like we were saying earlier, I think it was a 1-1 between both these players previously. Best Spoon has the upper hand right now. You're in that situation. You can't lose. You need to keep getting those points. But Tech, we've seen it from a charge. You can win 4 sets in a row and still make it all the way through right here. 3 bans coming in. Again, we're going back to that Laura and to that Hair Gang.
So yeah, let's see what we have for the first pick right now, because Tech has been showing time and time again, he's not really putting any Swift units to his draft. Also, he does know Best Boon has a lot of Swift units that will definitely outspeed him, even if he does so. So maybe he has to be looking more towards passives. Actually, he goes for steal on one of those Swift units right now. So let's see if Best Boon likes to go for a different kind of style of draft, because in the end, every turn he had that Oliver in there. Actually goes for an early Miying in this case. It's not necessarily a strong pick into a segment, but it's just an overall good pick for him.
Definitely, and I mean, if there's the Water Twin Angels putting out some stuns as well against a Miying, Miying's going to be eating that up with the skill 3 as well right now. Tech has that 1 speed lead with that segment as well. Maybe you're looking to secure another one, or even the Fire Twin Angels, like you said. They've not been winning too much at the moment in Special League, but if you're used to it and you know how to play it, a different speed lead, Ciara.
Yeah, definitely a good amount of options where there was not that much of a stun on the side of Tech just yet, but they actually enabled it in the slot 2 and the slot 3 from Tech itself. And on the other side, we do have a... Whoa, that's a very light and dark heavy draft right there with the Tian Link potential for Lance right there. Oh, and Akroma, that's... Ooh, Akroma with double armor breakers on skill 1. That is the position where I really do like an Akroma.
Wow, okay, that is mind-blowing to see those units just easily pocket-picked right there from Best Boon. Tech coming out with some more snipes, so he is going for that turn 1. We've got Sekhmet, we've got a Sonya out, and at least one of the speed leads as well. Maybe you're just going to keep on going. Let's just try and snipe it all, but it's going to be tough to get another one with a high base speed.
It's definitely difficult, but at this position, you might as well just go for Federica and just try to see if it works. But, okay, that's going to be one of the new Beetle Knights, which is actually a counter against the Sonya. But is that actually properly tested? I am not too sure about it yet. Is he actually going to lock it in? Because I'm not 100% sure about the skills. But skill 2, I think, is the Provoke. Skill 3 will get the Endure if something else dies. So it is one of those options good against the Sonya. But I'm not too sure if he actually does want to lock it in. No, we go more shinies.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been outrageous to use a unit that's literally just come into the game today in the Summoners War European League right there. Volantis, it's a colourful looking draft there.
It definitely is, and that's definitely looking like a draft where the Sonya is not on the battlefield, because Sonya has the only potential taking out some of the units on the side of Best Boon. Sure that the Chroma is there, but it's not too high of a rate to actually depend on.
Exactly, you can't depend on it right now, and Tech is figuring out how he's going to play around that as well, taking out the Akroma, and the Sonya's being banned out, so speed leads for both Tech and Best Spoon. It's our Summoners War European League playoffs. It's match 2, set 3 between Tech and Best Spoon. Tech needs that reverse sweep to start soon, but what can Light Gojo do?
Light Gojo is outspeeding the Sekhmet on the other side. That is a 106 base against the high base speed from that Sekhmet, so definitely an interesting one right there. In the end, turn still goes to the Twin Angels, but let's see how much they can do with it.
It's a good defense break, but how many... No stuns coming out there either.
Yeah, there's one stun sitting over there, but the pushbacks aren't really connecting. Also, Volantis does lose his skill over there, but he does get a little bit of push-up. We do have the question right now. If you go for that Sierra, how much damage do we do? Sierra still has the opportunity to go for a bomb right here, but where do you want to connect that bomb?
You'd likely just have to put it on Volantis right now, just so he's not going to be able to take a turn on that next time. Going for the Tian Lang, looking to explode, and then maybe you can take it out.
Well, if you don't explode it right now, there's going to be the hollow skill from the Gojo. Has potential for the counter, does actually not connect the counter. But once again, this hollow purple skill right there just simply removes those debuffs.
Yeah, you can look to use the skill 2 right now. Get defense breaks all across the board, but you might not have units to take them out.
Let's see. Sierra can actually definitely take out that Tian Lang right there. Does take it out, but now the big question is, Miying is still on the field. Miying still has the skills. Another stun coming in. He decided not to go for the healing, but likes to connect the kills.
Exactly, and even if you're going for the stuns across the board now from these Twin Angels, that Miying still has that skill 3 available. Maybe there's a Volantis revenge in there as well. It's looking very difficult for Tech.
Absolutely is looking difficult. You could go for the reset, but where do you want to aim that reset? You could reset the passive of the Panda and then go for the skill on the stuns later, but decides to go for that Volantis, which actually, once again, on that skill 1 is still having a lot of value.
I don't think Sigrid's actually taken a turn. I think she's been stunned the whole game so far here, so Tech needs to get it online.
Yeah, that's the thing, but also the moment you get her online right now, the attack buff was there for the Sierra. The Sierra is no longer on the field, so the whole Secret is not doing all too much, besides maybe taking a turn herself at some point, but nope. Secret is just a viewer as much as we are in this match.
Exactly, that star is traveling very fast around her head every single moment, but those stuns do come out on the worst unit to get it there.
Absolutely, in that worst unit too. Oh, we actually have that 1 turn, but I think this 1 turn is a little too late. If you go for skill 3 right now and the Miying goes for a counter, it would have taken out your own unit.
Exactly, Best Spoon just in the driving force right now, super dominant against Tech here. A real, I'd say, upset from what happened in those league days as well. Best Spoon sometimes was getting figured out a little bit too much by his opponents, but right here, right now, super fast Gojo as well going into that one. There's going to be a pre-ban on it, as well as the Water Twin Angels as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And where Best Spoon was actually struggling to get into the league, because I think he finished on position 7. And he's doing so well right now. He makes it look super easy. All of those drafts are simply just saying like, oh yeah, Best Spoon actually has the upper hand on draft. Next draft, once again, does seem to have the upper hand on draft. Also, just simply on rune quality, you had a Sekhmet being outsped by a 106 base speed unit, which just shows that Best Spoon is showing better runes on those units.
Definitely is. We've got that Sigrid coming in and the Hair Gang. Tech's been using it a lot, but Best Spoon, again, this is like his little holy trinity right here. We've got Ciara, we've got the 2 resetters coming in as well. I mean, Tech, how are you going to change things up? It's not been working for the past 3 sets right here.
Yeah, last time around, he went for the Jemire. The Jemire is on an interesting build with that steel, with that will, but is it going to be doing enough? He goes for the Megami this time around for adding in some paths. I would say something along the lines of a Gyu doesn't seem that bad as well. If you just go for a Juno Gyu right now, maybe add in a Wind Nabara in the 5th, and then order like a Angela in the 5th would be really strong. But I'm not too sure if that Megami is going to do enough.
Exactly, I'm also thinking right now, and Wind Nabara against a Sekhmet and a Veronica with a lot of AoEs coming out, probably leaving some debuffs on the side. Best Spoon, bringing that Raccoon, just a little bit of extra sustain right now, a little bit annoying with that Miying as well if you can get some turn cycling through. But Tech, that 5th pick might even be just an instant ban from Best Spoon.
Yeah, I definitely do think so. So then it's all eyes again on that Angela and the Megami, because the Secret is also, once again, not really participating that well in the match. Sure, you give attack buff, but you get attack buff to who? A Hey Gang? That's not going to help you.
No, it's definitely not going to help you. But Tech right now really needs to figure it out. If he loses this set, he's out of the Summoners War European League, and he can say goodbye to everything. So you have to bring it back with this 1 pick, but if it's too strong, it's just going to get banned.
Yeah, I do think so, and I would say that's not the pick that I was really thinking of, because you were looking for more damage or more passives. I'm thinking like Gyus, I'm thinking Wind Nabaras. Again, it's still banned regardless, but let's see how much this can do, because the opening is still potentially there with the Sekhmet skill 3 into the Sierra snipe. So let's see how much damage that can do.
Set 4. Let's find out if Tech is going home and if Best Spoon is advancing right now. Sekhmet, you can look to maybe get into that Sigrid already. Just reset that cooltime.
It also once again shows how fast this Miying is. The Miying is outspeeding all of the units on the enemy side, where it's a 24 lead against a 28 lead.
Yeah, you can get some shields coming in right now. You need some big stuns, really.
Yeah, let's see where those stuns connect. Do you get it on the Sierra? It does actually connect it on the Sierra. Let's see if this can do maybe a little bit more damage than we think it can do. However, if you do damage to that... Oh, no, it's still the Sierra moving first. I was thinking maybe if you do too much Nemesis damage on that Raccoon, it might take the turn in front. However, you can still boost that up right there.
Yeah, get a bomb off. Look to land it on that Megumi as well. The damage probably not enough with that shield.
Yep, and there's also that glance right there, but I think the position of the Angela seems good if Tech had some damage in this draft. The Raccoon is pretty much just as good, and there's actually a lot of damage on the side of Best Spoon.
Definitely is. You can use now that skill too, just partnering it up with some extra additional damage over time. But Ciara, if she can start cycling and getting those bombs off when there's no shield, could take out a unit.
Absolutely, and the Miing just as strong. It's also one of those units that can take out anything, so in the end, I think the strongest damage on the side of Tech is that shield.
Yeah, weird to say, eh? The strongest damage is a shield. Hagan, can you look to get some big stuns there, to be fair?
That's actually a decent amount of stuns once again. But the thing is, the Miing, you cannot really stun the Miing with a Mega Me. Normally, you would have done that at this position, and you can't really go for it. Does actually connect the seal and tries to do the damage simply that way. Armor break does actually connect. Okay, that's a good amount of damage on that Sierra right there. But then again, is that going to be enough right now?
I don't know if just a Mi Ying being on the field with that Rakuni in the long run is going to have too much of a damage output. And yes, getting rid of the Ciara right now is good in the short term, but how are you going to deal with those two?
Yeah, it's definitely still going to be hard. Also, that segment at some position will have that skill 2 available. With that skill 2, potential armor break set up for that Miing, and then Miing could just start doing a lot of damage.
Definitely can look at that. Defense break coming out from that Sigrid on the segment. Rakuni's just there. Nah, she's not having it today. Nothing today for you.
Yep, absolutely. So skill 2, do you want to connect it? Definitely do want to connect it. Only armor break is actually on that Mega Me. Mega Me right now, what is your plan of choice? Do you want to steal the speed buff? Does steal the speed buff right now, but it's going to be connecting a lot of damage. Takes the additional turn. Can you take it out? Does not take it out by the sliver of health.
Wow, that's lucky that he managed to just survive through there right now. But again, when that Mi Ying starts taking more turns, there's more damage coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, you can simply not stun that Mi Ying. That is the big problem right there.
Ooh.
Does get an attack break and an armor break, which is a little bit of an opener to get less damage on that or any of your units. But then again, Rakuni does have cleanses still.
He does, but you can get a stun there. So we're still, Mi Ying has a cleanse, I think, coming up as well, right?
Yeah, Mi Ying still has the cleanse coming up. It's never been stunned throughout all of this rounds. And yeah, it's actually the shields are just doing a lot of work right here. Sure, there's a little bit of the chip damage from the Secret Skill 1, armor breaking at potential times. But this Mi Ying is still looking at full HP. So let's see how much that can do.
Big stun as well from Hagang onto that segment right now. Just really ooh!
That is way more damage than expected, and he actually has to go for the cleanse. Otherwise, he would have taken himself out on that shield, and he does actually take it out.
Wow, I just heard the French cast absolutely scream for Tech right there. But what a say. Your best damage output was a shield.
Yeah.
And you've just won.
Well, in the end, the Secret was technically the best damage output because it nearly took out the units in the end. But yeah, the shield was very crucial right there. It was a lot of work on that shield, and interesting draft right there. In the end, the Sierra just couldn't really make it connect too early on. There was just too much shielding and too much healing going on right there.
Definitely was. Pre-bans, changing it up then. We've got Sekhmet coming out, and we've got a Hagang right there. I mean, Tech, that was a new angle of approach. Does this set up the reverse sweep now? One set in, 3 more to go. Bespin wants to shop early. He wants to make sure he gets out of here right now.
Absolutely, but then again, I think the Hagang was also enabling a lot, because every time that the Rakuni went for cleanse, there was a lot of attack bar gain for the side of Tech. And this time around, it's not going to be there. Whereas Bespoon has more chance for actually adding in the Laura and the Gojo right now. We haven't seen the Laura being in play altogether. Maybe he doesn't like to play it as much because of the nerf, but I do still think it's a very strong unit and might have potential in this matchup.
Taking 2 speed leads away then on the side of Bespoon right now, like Gojo and that Oliver. Tech, is he going to have to follow up with another speed lead of his own right now? Sekhmet's not on the field, so that high base speed unit is out of picture for him as well. Fire Twin Angels, like you've been saying, not good together at the moment.
Well, the Fire Twin Angels are really good together with the Water Twin Angel, so I do like it right there, but I'm not sure if it's too strong of a combination. Lima's most likely there to counter AoE hits because it has been shown on Revenge. But we have the 2 AoE strips, and this is actually the Bespoon draft that he likes to play the most. Having the Gojo, having the Oliver, having the Laura strips, all setting it up for the Jongnam itself. There's a lot of options right there for this Jongnam to be really strong, plus a 5th pick that has a lot of potential as well. Because if Tech goes for any slow units right now, you just lock in the Sonya right there and you're looking at a very strong draft.
Jemaya coming back out then on the field for Tech. Like you were saying, maybe a little bit of a weirder build. We've seen the seal come out of it. We've got the shield. We've got the will. Wow. Savannah throwing it back as well.
Okay, that's definitely signaling that he's going for 2 wind units, mainly to just try to counter the wrong element of Jongnam, so the Jongnam doesn't go for the stun right there. But then again, the Oliver is still there, and this has to be a ban on that Gianna. So on the side of Bespoon, it's going to be the question, where is most fear? It was for that Lima, potentially countering, and going for that 3rd skill.
Exactly. Speed leads locked in for both Tech and Bespoon right now. It is our Summoners War European League playoffs, match 2. It's a set 5 between Tech and Bespoon. Can Bespoon go through here? Oh,
Ooh, we connect everything. Also, you can simply go for skill 2 right now. Go still for the skill 3. I'm not sure about that. Because this goes on wrong element for a few units right there. Does not manage to land it on Jemaya, but the Oliver is fast enough. Does not get the increased cooltime, but that's exactly what you don't need. You need the absorb attack bar right there. Then the big question is, do you have enough damage? He's throwing in all AoEs. But if Tech survives this, procs something out, he might still have a chance.
he might have a chance, but right now you have got not a lot of healthy units right there. Jemaya can't take a turn. There's no violent proc coming out right there, and you've dismounted that Savannah. Bespun, this is your moment.
Yeah, Bespun is your moment. Exactly what I said in the draft. This is the most comfortable draft for Bespun. Having the Laura and the Gojo setting up for an Oliver and a Jongnam. It just shows so much danger. There's so much AoE damage. He's just been locked out for 2 turns, and he already loses pretty much his whole teams.
Wow. Bespun taking it then 4-1 against Tech in our Summoners War European League. He's going to be going into that next round where he'll be facing off against Crispy Bacon as well there, say. I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing today. Those drafts, he had one kind of upset, but in all honesty, it was an upset you probably wouldn't even think it would ever happen with that Sigrid, with the Angela, with the shields, but very dominant from Bespun there.
Absolutely, and where he's having a little bit more struggles with the pre-ban during the league days itself, during the playoffs, he's actually playing it very well. All of those drafts look very favorable for him. And also, he has to go into Crispy Bacon next round, if I'm not mistaken. And I think... No, wait, they had a 1-1 against one another. So this is also a matchup. Well, we said the same thing with Tech. They also had a 1-1. But in this case, it did not really show like a draw kind of position. It just showed where the Hagang was very dominant and hard to deal with for all of the strips for Bespun. But the moment that's taken off the field, just shows like a lot of work for all of those strippers, because in the end, I think that Bespun has all of the best strippers.
Yeah.
Has the Gianna, has the Veronica, has the Laura, has the Light Gojo. Only thing that I can think of missing is a Wunsa. But then again, it's a lot of good strippers. So yeah, make sure for your next opponent, get that Hagang off the field once again, because that's the one countering you.
Exactly. You can't have it all, say. You know, you've got to have at least one kind of weak opportunity coming in right now. But there it is. Confirmation. We have actually got a pattern. We got a pattern, a 4-1 and a 1-4.
I love this pattern already. And then if the next one is like a 3-2 or like a 4-2 or something like that, or 4-0 and an 0-4, I'm loving it already.
Exactly. And look at that Scribble Bibble and Tech sadly not with us, but Charge and Bespun will be against Slay and Crispy Bacon in our round 2 of the Summoners War European League. Remember, these are the last 2 days from today that we're going to be watching. There's still plenty more coming tomorrow as well, where we'll be seeing the likes of Pinkroyd and Malignant joining into the playoffs right now. It's going to be interesting to see exactly what they can bring to the table. These best of 7s have been used so far, 4-1 in each of them. I mean, longer than normally you would have with the best of 5s that we've seen previously, a 3-2 or a 3-1. Let's find out if they're prepared to go into the next matches. Just so you know, we actually have got like an incredibly nice bit of news to share as well with everybody that's watching here today. And you'll be watching it just as live as we are, because we have no idea what is coming up onto the screen in 15 seconds right now. There is something to do with SWC. We'll be muted during it, but then we're going to be giving our live reactions to it, because we actually haven't seen this. So you're seeing it at the same time as us. So make sure you're ready for this news that we're about to share right now. Oh, I'm excited.
Let's see what it is. We're bringing back the World Finals to Europe. Last time was 2019. Also in Paris. This time again, once again in Paris. And we once again did hear the French cast shouting a lot, because they're, of course, very happy to bring it back to Paris.
Exactly. We are back in Paris. For all of you around Europe that want to go and see that, I'm sure there'll be more news to follow. Exactly. For example, tickets, how you can be there, let's see which players are going to be there as well. There's still a whole nother season where we have to find out who's going to be even qualified for the preliminaries of that as well. Europe Cup being back on streaming as well, so that will be online, but we've still got so much that's going to be happening through there. If you're in any of those other locations, Sao Paulo, Busan, wherever you are, wherever you're a Summoners War fan, try and get to one of those events. They are incredible when you're in person, and I'm sure that the French crowd will be going just as wild as they always do for any of the Europe Cups that have been there before, the World Finals from there before. If you're a French player watching, try and be that person that they support, right? I mean...
But is there going to be a French Open? Because we had a Japan Open, we had a Korean Open before, of one player going straight to the World Finals, not having to play the Regional Cup.
Yeah.
We have a lot of good French players as well.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of those things that might be up for grab. Also, I'd really like to see some other cities that we have seen before. It has been in Korea, Seoul many times. Busan, different city, really nice. But also taking it to Brazil rather than having it in the US of A, which is definitely a very nice one as well. And we do know that the Brazilian community is really big and they will really love this one.
Definitely will. And what you'll love even more is the coupon code as well. Playoffs. Get yourself 2 mystical scrolls and some mana along the way right now. There's those new units. Maybe you can get a new unit from one of those mystical scrolls as well right now. And even if not, it's the 10 for 1 is happening in the game, right? So at least it's a little bit more towards putting an extra scroll in the back of your pocket to be summoned as well. Make sure you're having a look in chat. If it's either on iOS using the different link, or if you've got any sort of Android device, you can type it into the in-game area for that code. But wow, I mean, SWC, it's not far from being, already. You saw there July until November as well. Yep. So only a couple of months after this right now, and we're going to be there.
Absolutely, and I'm definitely very interested to see once again. Also, the last season we already had was qualifying for that SWC. The next season we're having an RTA. Also qualifying for that SWC, especially if you're a French player. I'm not sure if there is, but if there is a French Open, try to qualify as high as possible because you might not be in the top 8 of Europe, but you could still be in the top 8 of France right there. So definitely keep checking the social medias because if there is French Open, that is where they will mention it.
Exactly. We've still got 2 more matches that are going to be coming up today as well. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be going for a quick 5-minute break, absorb all that info, and we'll see you back very, very... Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Summoners War European League playoff days. Hopefully, you've taken all of that news that we just shared with you, and you're super excited for what's to come the rest of this year in competitive RTA within Summoners War. I mean, Paris. We're going back to Paris. The atmosphere, we were just speaking with some of the other casters as well. I think that holds a place in a lot of people's hearts as one of the best events that they ever went to in 2019, and it's all about repeating that for this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we always do notice we actually had the European Cup 2 years ago in Paris as well. And the crowd there likes to go loud. So that's definitely one of those cool things. And the thing is, they like to cheer most for, of course, the French players.
Yeah.
Back then, only 2-2 made it. He unfortunately lost in that first round. So this is definitely the moment. I think all of the French people are going to just teaming up together. Like, let's get as many French people to those World Finals as we can. But first of all, we have the European League that we're talking about today, and we're going to be looking at the brackets for today because we still have two very strong matchups coming up right now.
We definitely do. Two players that have been sat in the wings watching from those first matches are Slay and Crispy Bacon up against in order Charge and Best Spoon as well, and they've gone through with some serious momentum here as well. A 4-1 win is not usually anything to do with luck. You've really dominated, and they must be very ready for these next players that they're going to be facing up against. Obviously, Slay and Crispy Bacon, 3rd and 4th in terms of position from that initial Summoners War European League. But right now, nobody cares about that position anymore. You're here for the now, and you're in those playoff matches. You lose that best of 7, goodbye, sayonara. But here we are, Slay versus Charge. Again, Slay, incredible that he's in that position right now.
Absolutely. And also, these players had a draw against one another in the league days itself. So in this case, we cannot go for a draw. Also, the big question is, who did most of the studying? And we actually talked about him a lot in the pre-show that we did yesterday. Kiara moving super fast all the way in front of Asonia. But then again, that only does work against players that you know mostly play all of the units on Violent. We have seen it with Charge just now. Charge is not one of those players. That Athena, super fast, lots of damage. You're definitely not going to be able to put Asonia or Kiara against that. You will definitely have a good chance with the Gianna, but the Gianna was picked up later for Slay, and therefore he didn't have as much playtime with it. On the other side, well, top 5 win rate, Athena on 100%. I think from today, she was also 100%. So that Athena is maybe one of those units you might have been looking at, like banning it out. Also, we did not even see the silver because normally the silver was very well paired with the Jongnam. But now the Jongnam fits maybe more in the 4 or 5 position where you don't always have the silver on the field already.
Exactly, and he's spun the thing around there. Vanessa was in the lowest of win rates for him as well. But Vanessa was a core unit that Charge was picking against Scribblebibble in that very last match and using it to great effect. Just being on the field, always having that passive up ready, well, not passive, skill 3 to be able to revive. Just keeps that, you know, everything ticking along. Where are you going to put the damage in? Favorite for this one?
I kind of would have a gift to Charge based on the matches that he played earlier. But then again, Slay is really good at preparing. But then again, Charge plays a lot of different playstyles. It's a lot of to prepare against. But let's see what these two gentlemen can bring.
Exactly. I hope Slay has been connected overnight. He will need 100% Charge to take down his next opponent here. As he's on a roll, Charge versus Slay. Pre-bans already coming in as well. We've got Kavachi, and we've seen he's done his homework, respecting that Etna right there.
Yeah, definitely is a very good respect on that Athena right there. On the other side, the Kovaci enables a lot of the drafts on the side of Slay. But the most dangerous unit in the box of Slay that has always been doing very well was that Zeratul, and that is still a potential that he could go for.
It is, but he's going to take away at the moment a 33 speed lead, knowing that Charge was likely to pick that Vanessa, which we see in that first slot right now for Charge. I mean, again, he used it to such great effect in those last matches. There's no Etna to partner it up with right now, but another high base speed unit. Maybe you can even think of Vivachel. I mean, he's had that popping around.
It could be an option, but you definitely have to be careful of that Gianna on the other side. It could be a Swift Gianna, it could be a Violent Gianna. This is really one of those units. Both bulls are super strong, but you never really know until you see it the first time. So in this case, we just go back to a Jongnam. There we have that Zeratul being locked in and actually going back to a Shiho.
Exactly, and he looks super fearsome now with that new artwork as well. I mean, we've mentioned it all the way through the league as well, say, Slay, G2 player. We didn't even have to mention it during these playoffs because look at the respect that he's earned from the other opponents here right now as we see Charge going in for that Fire Megumi. Oh, I mean, it's still scary up against those two units.
It is scary, but it actually goes for steal right now. So if there's a 3-turn immunity on that Zeratul, you can steal a 3-turn immunity yourself. Actually, once again, Charge going in with very fast units, as is that Sonya. Sonya will definitely be one of those units to be taking out a Zeratul. But the big question is, can you also take out a Gianna? Because that's mostly one of those units that's a little bit harder to take out.
Yeah, and he's popped for that Mi Ying there. It's actually the lowest win rate on Slay's units as well from the graph that we just saw earlier. But deciding, you know what, it's maybe worth it here right now. Especially if Charge brings in there, like he had that Volantis, AoE stuns or anything coming out. Mi Ying's going to be just annoying. Sonya have to ban?
Yeah, it's really looking at that Sonya ban right now. So if Charge can make a very strong fifth that also becomes a must ban, I think that's where Charge becomes in a favorable position. But Pader is definitely an option, but it also gives away you're not banning that Gianna. So if the Gianna is able to tank out the Sonya and you leave the Gianna in, Gianna might be very difficult to deal with.
Might be. This is mind games now, right? How are you going to figure this one out right now? I mean, you've still got Speed Lead with that Megumi as well that's coming in. Like you said, we can steal them stuff. Immunity going to be ever present if that Pata's on the field.
It also could simply be an Oliver ban, because then the Sonya has a lot more potential to deal a lot of damage. We actually have the Vader being banned, and we have the Zeratul being banned. But let's see how much this Sonya can do.
Speed leads for both Charge and Slay. It's our Summoners War European League Round 2. Match 1, set 1 between Slay and Charge. Rank 3 versus rank 5th from the league. And that Shiho is going to be going first.
Shio is going first, but are you going to connect the stun on that Sonya? You could definitely try to go for it. I would test that out.
Let's see. Going in for the Megumi instead then.
Oh, does connect the stun over there, but then again, what can you kill on that? Goes for the Mi Ying, does take out that Mi Ying cleanly.
Oh, big resistance coming in right there, though. Not allowing the Jongnam to really get any stuns. This is your moment, Gianna. You have to start stunning.
Oh, does not connect the bomb. Can connect the critical arrow. Does actually connect the critical arrow on everything. So then the Oliver has to do a lot of Oliver things. Gianna's going to be taking a few turns before she's back on track.
Yep, putting in cool times into that Jongnam, likely built on Bio as well there. But maybe not wasting that skill 2 yet.
Yeah, you definitely want to go for skill 1 first, because you mainly want to do skill 2 at the moment that you don't have any immunity at the turn right after. So that is the position you do want to do it. Let's see if he does go for steal. Doesn't go for steal. Oh, the additional turn goes for the Eagle skill right now. Can you land that stun on either the Oliver or the Gianna?
Oh, big stun there onto the Oliver right now. Skill 1's going to come in from Gianna. It's not going to be enough to take out any of the monsters right now, but a bomb could be if it lands.
Oh, the Gianna just not connecting it. Also, the Gianna does not have any additional damage by speed or anything whatsoever. Also, the skill 2 was connecting on that Sonya, but it was resisted right there.
It was. Skill 3 is probably enough to take out that Fire Megumi right now, but is it the right play, say?
Definitely does look like the right play. It takes out the unit cleanly, and also that Shio is showing a lot of speed. But the big issue is, if Gianna is not on additional damage on anything, then it's just simply not doing that much damage on that skill 1.
Definitely isn't. You can look to get some skill 1. Maybe needs an additional turn. Doesn't get it there. Monkey to follow up soon. But if he starts cycling too much, it could be to his detriment.
It could be. Monkey is definitely not on violence, so can only go for skill 1 over here. But the big question is, Sonya, how close are you to getting to your skill 2 back once again? Because it's actually reset by the Oliver, so it doesn't do anything just yet. But the Shio is actually showing a lot more work right now. And the Gianna, sure, she had a good initial stun, but afterwards she hasn't been doing anything.
Yep, here we are. Oliver gonna try and control the team now. Then is it maybe you need to go for that Vanessa and kind of risk through off element to get it?
Well, it's definitely... Oh, it would have been an option to go for that Fire Megumi, because now the Fire Megumi does move in front of your Shiho altogether. Let's see how much you can do on this. It is definitely enough damage where the chip damage of the Shio skill 2 will take out this Sonya. But then again, do you get enough stuns to cycle? Does not get that many stuns.
Doesn't get the stuns right there. And with this Jongnam taking a turn, can you even get a freeze right now? That could really put something up for...
Oh, we have the skill 2 potential, but then again, I think this freeze still has a higher value in this moment, because you want to strip when there is something to strip. Right now, there's nothing to strip. Does actually connect the freeze, and there's no violent on this Monkey. It was showing way too fast, definitely on Swift, and it's going to be waiting for his turn.
Exactly, and right now you can even maybe get a stun with that skill 3. You do get it as well. Monkey was in the driving seat, but he's had some monkey business against him.
Absolutely, and it's also too many of those bombs were simply wasted on that Gianna. Gianna just did not want to perform. Actually does use the skill 2, does get the additional turn, another freeze, does not get the freeze. Skill 1, is that enough damage? It is enough damage on that branding to take out that Shiho.
Exactly, Charge is on a real mission right now. He's gone 5 sets unbeaten out of a possible 6. First one down, but really turning it around. Slay, that Monkey was getting ready to do some real work, but huge freeze coming in from a Jongnam.
Absolutely. And it's also interesting, whereas in the previous patch, so the one prior to this morning, the Monkey was only stunning on a skill 3 crit. Now it's actually been fixed that it is also stunning on a non-crit. So it has a lot more chance to stun right there. So he maybe could have actually tried to do that on the Athena, because sure, you could miss by glancing, but then again, you are faster than that. So the passive of the Sonya wasn't there to do anything. And the Sonya just cleanly taking out one unit on the side of Slay also makes it where he was trying too hard to win a 3 against 4.
Definitely was. Pre-bans coming in here then. We've got a Silver coming out and a Zeratu. I mean, the Silver we've not seen from Charge at all today, so a bit of an interesting pre-ban from Slay.
Yeah, I would rather say that if you want to go for the style that Slay was going, a Vanessa pre-ban would have maybe done a lot more. Because once again, we're just running it back every time. It's just Vanessa, Vanessa. Every first pick of Vanessa for Charge so far today, he has been winning. It is 100%. And 5 out of 5 Vanessa first picks were a victory. So it's definitely one of those dangerous things.
Definitely is. Slay looking to respond with his own speed lead then. That Oliver, again, coming into play right now. Has that Kavachi as well, if wanting to use it to try and get some boost up attack bar manipulation going through right there. He knows that his Monkey was faster than a lot of Charge's team as well, but Gianna...
Gianna's a really strong unit, but not connecting those bombs, not having that much damage on the skill 1, makes it where it's just all about that skill 3. And we actually have Charge going for the Juno. We have seen it in the match where that's actually the one time that he did lose, but the Juno was showing very strong and nearly performed the solo right there. And Megami into a Juno is not really the best of takes, so you definitely have to go for a slot 4 and a slot 5 that can take care of a Juno.
Wow, we're going for some, again, turn 1 right now from Slay. We've got another speed lead coming in. We've got that Monkey. We saw how fast it was against the Sonya from that last round. This time up against an Etna, maybe a different kind of speed battle going into that one. But Charge, 4th and 5th pick. Mi Ying, okay, changing it up a little.
Definitely a lot of stuns on the side of Slay, so Mi Ying will work. However, it could be too many stuns, because if you stun the Mi Ying in the off turn where it doesn't have the passive, you will keep it stunned. But on the other side, Vader is just such a great unit against Gianna.
Definitely is. You've already signaled Gianna staying in with that Mi Ying and the Parta right now coming out, even a Juno to deal with it. Slay right now has the speed leads locked in. You just need another damage.
Maybe another damage, but I also wouldn't really be against something like a third heal and then keeping in the Athena. It's definitely one of those units. It might give you a lot of pace, where you might just simply do more damage than the enemy. Actually goes for Frederica. Can be a little bit of a dangerous unit, because an Athena or a Juno can still kind of deal with that.
Can deal with it, but skill 2 damage coming through definitely can delete a unit. If you're looking to delete units, are you already signaling Vanessa?
Yeah, I would say Vanessa pre-ban on this, because if you go for Federica, you don't first wanting to have to kill a Vanessa that might actually be minus fire, fully tanked it, because we have seen this Vanessa take a lot of damage and still being very lively. So you have to be taking out that Vanessa, but then again, ooh, actually goes for the expectation that the Federica is banned itself. Now the big question, is this Monkey also faster than Ethna?
Let's find out. It is our Summoners War European League playoffs, round 2, set 2 between Slay and Charge. Who's going first here? Etna does just beat out that Monkey.
And that is a lot of damage on that Monkey, losing about 65% damage right there. Right away goes for stun, and that is because the Gianna is moving after, and then the Gianna can do that once again.
Definitely can, but is it a despair Vanessa right now? No.
No, it's not a despair Vanessa, but I'm pretty sure... Oh, we got 3 for 3, missing the bombs and missing the most crucial stun. Gianna is just not the unit you want to be looking at right now. And this Juno, speed buff, armor break, other side. Well, in the end, Mi Ying can just take out any unit, so you don't even have to do it. But I think that a Juno would have been able to take out the Monkey right there as well.
Yeah, look at that. Oliver can start to control a little bit more, but this defense break on the Gianna, that's helpful.
That's very helpful. Counter is still there, but heal overtime is definitely not. But then again, I don't see an Oliver, a Gianna being half dead, win against the Juno. And you still have to fight 3 other units as well.
Exactly. Once that Mi Ying takes a turn sooner or later, maybe gets a cleanse and some revenge on himself. Just skill 1 in the Gianna.
Oh. That is a 3.3k hit. And actually where Gianna was on one of the lowest win rates coming into this day, it is showing that she's just simply not performing at all as well. Even if you kill out multiple units for now, it is pretty much over. That Juno will solo the whole team.
Juno will be soloing. Mi Ying's just staying alive right now. He can put up a skill 2, get a revenge back on. Oh, it's Charge just coming in clutch. Again, that momentum is just carrying him through.
Absolutely, but also I really do like the Juno draft in here. It's just setting up so much, like all 3 of the units that were shown on the side of Slay were just super hard countered by a Juno. The moment you take out 1 or 2 more units, Juno can perform that solo. And in this case, she doesn't even need to because there's still so many units alive on the side of Charge.
Exactly. Nice play there, though, getting the cool time on that Vanessa so he can take out the Etna. But with those defense breaks, like you were saying, they're 2.5k. Rebound defense break onto the Oliver. Oliver, you're not him, sadly.
Nope, no, not that much. I have seen a Juno lose to an Oliver, but you need a lot of things going your way, and then it's a 1v1 potential. It is not a 1v3 plus revive potential.
Exactly. Charge managing to charge ahead right now, 2-0. He is on an absolute roll in our Summoners War European League right now. If you're not pre-banning a Vanessa in this one, have you already signaled you've given up?
Yeah, I think pre-ban the Vanessa, maybe the playstyle that you're doing, pre-banning that Juno might be good. Of course, pre-banning that Atna, he's been picking it every time that it's available as well. So, pre-ban on the Atna, I definitely do understand. But if he goes back next round to a pre-ban on that Silver, I would say he's kind of pre-banning wrong.
Yeah, let's find out. Slay with that first pick. Are you even going to steal it? I mean, so
Vanessa
Oliver
steal could be a thing.
going for the other 33 lead. So, again, Charge can just confirm what's been working.
Yep, once again, so far 100% win rate on that first pick, Vanessa, and he's on 6 matches doing that already. This is number 7. So let's see who likes to pair with it. He takes a little bit more time the moment he cannot go for a Vanessa plus an Etna. The moment that he doesn't have that, he's definitely taking his time like, okay, what could be the best second pick in here? And he's taking all the time. Actually goes for an early Achroma. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it is pretty decent into the units of Slay. However, it's not good into a Zeratul. You might think like, oh, Zeratul could miss a crit because of the Achroma. No. Zeratul does that much damage, it takes out the Achroma in just 2 hits.
Exactly. So much can come through there. Mi Ying, another response in terms of a unit that can really just keep piling in damage, not really caring so much with that Achroma being on the field right now. And going back to that Monkey, but he's seen that, he's faster than the Sonya at least, but this Etna is out.
Yeah, I definitely do like the Monkey in here, but I would have rather seen a Zeratul in that second slot than the Mi Ying, because the Mi Ying so far hasn't been performing that well for him, whereas the Zeratul has actually been doing a lot more work. Sonya once again on the field. We do know it is going to be slower if both 33 leads are in against that Monkey. But then the big question is, there's already 2 speed leads on the side of Charge. Charge has the option to ban out the Oliver, unless there's going to be more of a speed lead on the side of Slay. But then again, what kind of speed lead really fits here? He's been using the Fire Megami, but is Fire Megami something that's really good in this draft? I don't really think so.
Yeah, and we've seen already that Sonya's been able to delete Mi Ying previously in the match as well right now. So Charge can just kind of double down. He's got the speed leads confirmed. I mean, is he going to risk that the Monkey doesn't stun on a Sonya as well?
It's definitely once again back to the Pater, but I would also say that something just as a Juno would be very strong in this kind of draft. Sure, it's a little bit more difficult to deal with at Mi Ying, but you have a lot of other units that could deal with Mi Ying if you not just simply ban it out, which also could be an option. So let's see what we have for the bans in this set 3.
Speed lead maybe, Vanessa take out the higher one, because then you know if it's coming on your side, that Monkey's still going to go first.
But the big question is, I'm not too sure about that. Like, if you have the 28 lead in there, but what if he just simply bans out that Monkey altogether? Would you be... is the Gianna going to be enough?
Oh, he's decided to take away that Sonya already, so there's no snipe options. Speed leads for both Charge and Slay in our Summoners War European League playoffs. Round 2, set 3 between Charge and Slay. Charge tearing it up. If he can go 3-0 up, this will be incredible for him. But that Monkey, can you get your stuns off?
Well, a thing you could do right here is go for the Pater. If you go for the Pater right now, you wasted skill. Big issue, however, is that the Achroma did not get any attack bar. Otherwise, you would have had the skill 2 into a skill 2 for the Achroma later. But in this case, Pater just decides not to do any skills. But the Gianna's going to move right after this.
Definitely is going to be moving. Maybe you can even look to try and get a defense break somewhere on that Megumi, which is going to be helpful. But this is where, can you get stuns? Gianna's turned up this time.
It is the 4th bomb that's finally connecting, but also the Gianna skill 3 is simply not connecting. So much damage coming in, and Gianna's just simply not working. This unit is just finally landing a bomb, and then it's like stuns. Nah, not today.
This is a big upset for Gianna right now. Trying to get rid of... This could be an option for the Pater to be leaving, because he's got skill 3 soon, though.
Well, if you go for skill 2 right now, you are able to connect it. Gianna goes for skill 3. No, you don't have it because you used it last time, but it doesn't even feel like you used it.
Exactly. The worst. You've used it. Oh, great there. You can bounce now.
Yeah, you can go for the bounce. Could go on the invisibility. That's also an option. Where does it go? Goes on the invisibility right there. A little bit going in Slay's favor right there. And he does deserve a little bit of that as well. Because he's sitting on the back foot. Also a provoke on that. Gianna is not going to do any useful turns right now.
Oh, look at that. You're getting that skill 1 and the bomb does go off. Takes a little bit of health through. This is an opportunity now. If you can cycle and get a bomb on that monkey.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be the big question. Do you have any crits? Does get a crit, does get the additional turn. The open moment for the monkey and probably taking out one hit. Wow. 23.3k damage on that monkey. That was all of its HP being gone right away.
I think I did a bit of a cast a curse right there. It kind of said exactly what was going to be happening, and it did. Mi Ying, though, being on that field, if you're having to hit him, there's revenge coming out. There's some defense breaks.
Does it really matter? Unless the Sierra dies in like super strange ways, that's the only way I could see it doing anything. Plus, where the Mi Ying before had some healing in his kit, doesn't have any healing in the kit. And that's why I just simply claim a Zeratul being stronger than a Mi Ying.
Yeah, you can maybe get a defense break, but you can land a bomb. Bombs away. And it's going to be all she wrote here. Charge going up 3-0 against Slay in the Summoners War European League playoffs. How can you stop him?
Well, I have two options. A, ban the Vanessa.
Yeah.
2, stop picking Gianna. Because at some point the unit, if it just doesn't want to connect, it's just not going to connect. It's not going to connect now. It's not going to connect in the next run. Sure, it's a really good unit if she connects. But if that's the only thing she's purposefully for doing and not doing it, she's doing nothing. So it's just simply not working. Maybe leave her in for slot 5 or slot 4 if she really does fit. But if she doesn't fit, just don't draft her because she's simply not connecting.
Exactly. Who's it going to be? Finally, Vanessa is out of the picture. Does this stop the momentum for Charge going into this match? Zeratul is a good ban as well. You've seen how much damage it can do. Then he's going to be reliant on a Mi Ying. This first pick right now, are you still taking that Oliver?
He's going to steal that Oliver. Yeah. But then again, Slay could go for a Ciara-Gianna combination, which is not that bad, but I don't want to see it in slot 1 and slot 2. Because if you go Ciara-Gianna right there, he is open to a lot of counter picks on the side of Charge right there. I would rather see him steal the Athena.
Etna coming out on there, and the Kavachi. We haven't actually been able to see Kavachi so far yet today as well. So it's going to be interesting how that skill 3 can be used to get some extra attack buff up. Everything going through. Charge right now. Wow, that's a change up.
Yeah, that was actually something that I did not really think of when thinking like, hey, maybe Slay should steal that Athena. You actually never want to be using Athena into a Ragdoll owner. That's one of those things like, yeah, that's 100% of the time gonna come out right there because it just denies your skill 2 by a long shot of being usable. Then again, this is kind of a position where none of those 3 units can deal with a Fire Monkey, for example. But do you want to go that kind of bruiser right now where Charge still has a slot 4 and a slot 5 available?
Definitely, you can look to work around it right there. Ciara coming in then, so getting a speed lead already with the Kavachi. But again, it looks like Charge is set up for a bruiser, but Slay maybe doesn't have enough to snipe it out.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult one. Does he go for snipe kind of units? No, goes back to the Mi Ying. Also hasn't been performing that well. Does do a lot more on attack buff, of course. But let's see if Charge actually goes for a full turn 2 right now. With that Federica in there, definitely does look like it. But if he goes for a double kind of snipe position right there, there's one strip on the side of Slay, and it's just that Athena. He can take out 1 unit, but he cannot really take out more than that. So let's see what's the 5th pick going to be. Actually going back to that Volantis.
Wow, fully changed it up. We've gone for some bruising going out on the side of Charge right now. Slay, what are you going to be looking to take through right now? Probably don't need another speed lead looking at it right now. Is there a room for a Sonya if you've really got it well ruined? But that's dangerous.
I don't really think he can go for the Sonya. He could go for a Gianna, make the draft somewhat more on the difficult side. But then again, keep in mind, Charge has very good runes. Whereas a lot of players don't have their Juno move in front of their Oliver, I do expect Charge to have a Juno move in front of that Oliver. Sonya being locked in, that does signal that you're gonna be taking out that Oliver, so you're guaranteed to have a big speed gap. But once again, can you actually take it out?
Yeah, I mean, can you? Is it even going to get through? Is Charge going to allow it to even come through to potentially snipe out one of his units right here? If he wins here, 4-0, and he's made it through to tomorrow already. Mi Ying banned out, that Federica as well being banned out. Speed leads for both Slay and Charge. Summoners War European League, it's clutch time right now between Slay and Charge. 3-0 up right now. Etna, you can't do it, can you?
No, you have to go for skill 3, but what's interesting that Sonya's actually slow. The Sonya's slower than the Kovachi. He will definitely take out a unit. You just go for the skill 3 right now. You hope that the Volantis doesn't take a turn. Does actually take a turn. Ragdoll is still so strong.
super strong right now, and Oliver's got the whole world to see who he can look to put a cool time into right now. Are you going for Sonya? Are you going for Kavachi? Where are you going?
You definitely go for Kavachi. Actually, that is something in the favor of Slay right there. Still not really there. There is glancing on the side of that Sonya. Sonya, 50-50. Are we going to take someone out? And who are we going to take out? What is the unit of choice? Sierra will move right after. Are you going to go for the Oliver? Does not connect. 50%. Sierra bomb. Please land this right now. Slay needs it so much. Where is the bomb going to connect? Where does it go to? Goes on the Juno. I like that take right there because that is the stripper. Can you take it out? Does not take it out. Once again, charge rune quality is so strong.
Definitely is, and now you can do skill 2, get some good stuns and so many dots coming out there. Charge is on a roll.
Yeah, Charge is looking at a 4-0 over here because this is the position I don't really see where any of these units are going to take out the Juno. Even an attack buff. Sierra just did not do enough damage, and that's just show once again rune quality of Charge. Also could be that this Sierra is maybe based a little bit more around additional damage rather than full on bomb damage, or maybe a little bit more tanky, but it was simply not enough. If you were to take out the Juno Ritter, might have been a different match altogether. But then again, the Sonya sniping out the Volantis might have been a little bit more of a change, but I think that Juno not being killed, that was the big factor.
Wow. Charge. 4-1 in that first set against Scribblerbibble. 4-0 against Slay, who came third in that Summoners War European League from the past 7 weeks. He is looking hot for tomorrow. I mean, he's going to be up against a tough opponent from the last match of today, and then potentially into some of the Malignants and Pinkroids of the world. But wow, I mean, he even played around that Vanessa in the last one.
Yeah, I didn't even need the Vanessa with that one, but also it just shows like Juno so well ruined, so many units so well ruined, and it just worked out every time for him. And again, yeah, that Vanessa just in all of the other picks, it showed that it worked out very strong. And then the enemy tried the same thing. It's like, oh, let me steal your Athena. It's like, no. Ragdoll. Yeah. And just that skill 3. It was almost the position that in hindsight you would say is like, would you maybe go for skill 1 on the Juno to not crit on a 50-50? Yeah. Just that you can actually take your turns.
Exactly. But that is the mind games that are happening during our Summoners War European League playoffs. And wow, Charge 4-0. Maybe we're going to get another pattern as well going into this next match. Are we having another 4-0 with Best Spoon?
Yeah, that's... Wait, then we would have Crispy Bacon losing 0-4 to Best Spoon to get the pattern fully, but that's going to be a short day if that actually happens. I hope not. I don't mind to go all the way best of 7, guys. I want to see a lot of cool matches. So let's see, especially with Crispy Bacon. We have seen a lot of LDs. We're going to see his player profile picture in a while. He has 4 out of 5 dark units on his most picked set.
I mean, nice to be in that position right there. And in confirmation, Charge taking out Slay 4-0, meaning he is in our playoffs day number 2 tomorrow. I mean, hopefully Pinkroid and Malignant will watch him, because if they do have to face off against Charge going into those matches, he has just carried on so much momentum from that round 1 into that round 2. But still yet today, Crispy Bacon and Best Spoon. Which one of these guys can manage to take it through and join Charge tomorrow? I mean, these guys, again, Best Spoon coming off a 4-1. Is it just all about momentum when it comes to these knockoff tournaments?
Maybe so. So let's see how it works. And actually, we have to have the bottom player in the previous match actually had the 4-0. So if we want to keep the pattern, we are going to have Crispy Bacon winning 4. So let's see if that actually would work out right there. And as I mentioned before, top 5 picked units. It's a Chandra that's kind of like if you have a sequence of like, oh, who is the outlier in the sequence? Oh, it's the Chandra looking a little bit blue over there. But then we have the Zeratul, the Gianna, the Lydia, and the Dark Megami. Also, the Gianna win rate over here is looking super, super strong. Then again, the moment that he has to go more Bruiser with the Sekhmet, with the Veloju, that's the point where it's not really working out. Big question is, can you also perform these kind of playstyles against your opponent having a lot of AoE strips? Because Best Spoon has been showing the Light Gojo, the Veronica, the Laura. Those kind of units do really deny for you going for a turn 2 setup with a Lydia.
Exactly. I mean, Crispy Bacon on his last stats there, all of his top 5 picked units, none of them were in the lowest win rate. Whereas again, you're looking here from Best Spoon from the league, 4 out of the 5 in the most picked are also in the lowest win rate. But it's a different day. It's a new day, new dawn. And he's here already managing to take out an opponent 4-1 earlier today. Now it's going to be his turn to see if he can come up against Crispy Bacon. Favorite for this one?
I think I would have to give it to Best Spoon because just simply having a better draft of AoE CC with AoE strips. Sure, the Ragdoll is there, but the moment you take care of the Ragdoll in the pre-ban or in the post-ban, I'm not too sure if there's going to be too much for Crispy Bacon of getting those kind of drafts in.
Exactly. What did the Spoon say to the Bacon in the arena? You're frying me crazy. Let's see if Bespoon is going to be frying Crispy Bacon crazy in this one. Are we going to get another 4-0? 4 1s, 4 0s. That's all we've seen today so far. Pre-bans coming in right now. I mean, say, we've seen it before. That Light Gojo has been around now. It's been working a little bit more here right now. Laura has been pre-banned a lot. We've seen hair gangs on the side of Bespoon. Ragdolls?
I would say Ragdolls and Light Gojos and Lauras, because in the end, even if your Laura has 15 crit rate, even if your Light Gojo has 15 crit rate, they can still crit a lot on that Ragdoll. And we've seen that in the previous match. It might just simply 1 crit or 2 crits might be enough where your whole enemy team moves because of that Ragdoll.
Exactly. These guys also taking the full amount of time for pre-bans right now. Maybe they weren't watching each other's matches, or
are they trying to find one of the new icons? Yeah, maybe the Gianna. The Gianna is actually one of those new icons. It's like you're just scrolling through. It's like, this is not how she used to look. I can't even find her right now.
Exactly. She's had such a makeover right there. We've got Laura and Gianna again, 2 units with those crazy skill 3s with some strips, some potentials for stuns within there as well. Straight away, Crispy Bacon locking in that 33% speed lead with Oliver. And Bespoon going back to, I would say, the classic from what he was playing earlier today.
Yeah, definitely. And also the Gojo. If you go for a Ragdoll right now, Gojo by base already has 30 crit rate, more than Laura. So you're actually looking at a 45 crit rate already on a multi-hit AoE. It's definitely a unit you want to be picking up a Ragdoll. But Ragdoll mostly fits better in the slot 4 or slot 5. So Crispy Bacon is first locking in other units.
Exactly. We've got the Dark Megumi coming out there as well, along with the Fire Brother as well coming out. This is a new kind of clutch player, I would say. We've got a new family that are making double appearances in RTA. Whoa, okay.
Okay, this is one as, again, I don't really like the slot 3 and the slot 4 of Bespoon. Because if you give any options where some units are not fully taken care of, that is the draft Crispy Bacon likes the most. You have to take out all of my units, you have to control all of my units, then you have a good draft against me. And this Ragdoll's really not gonna be doing all too much because I'm not really sure what it's... No, I wouldn't like that altogether. And Bespoon also noticed that because either the Zeratul is gonna be a big problem or that Lydia is gonna be a big problem. Main bruiser is mostly that Audrey for the side of Bespoon, but I do actually like the draft of Crispy Bacon over here.
We've seen how much that Lydia can do in Summoners War European League as well already. Do you have to just respect it?
I would say either respect the Lydia and reset the Zeratul or the other way around. And I would say resetting the Lydia is probably more strong than resetting a Zeratul because the cooldowns are pretty low and it has more of a cycle situation altogether.
What?
Actually keeps in both. I am not 100% sure. If you can take out both, it is good. If you don't, you're looking at trouble.
Let's find out. It's our Summoners War European League playoffs, round 2, match 2 between Crispy Bacon and Bespoon. You need to reset here.
But you also have to reset that Oliver. There's actually a lot of things you have to reset. So resets the Megami. Okay, we're going to be looking at a lot of... Yep, Lydia's going to go hard. We're just waiting for it. We're just patiently waiting for the Lydia to do its own thing. Also, Oliver is moving still in front of the Audrey, so it does work out to reset the Audrey. Mia can maybe do a little bit of damage on that Zeratul, but Zeratu's still going to be doing more. Actually, no pushback right there, but let's see where you want to aim your damage. Or do you go for skill 2 right now to not stack the Lydia passive that much?
Yeah, we're going through. We've got skill 2 coming out from Zeratul right now. You can just plow in some extra damage, but all eyes and focus is going to be on this Lydia right now.
Lydia against a lot of speed on those units. Did do a good amount of damage. Didn't take anything out just yet. Good healing from that Audrey, however. But let's see how that continues right there. Because in the end, we still have the Hollow Purple. So that stun will be cleansed because of that pushback. We had the turn order being slightly different. But it's just simply taking another turn right there.
Exactly. You're looking pretty healthy again, in all honesty. A lot of units already back to full health right now. And those defense breaks from Mi Yings are going to be able to pile in damage. Crispy Bacon not looking so good right here.
Absolutely not. I was expecting this Lydia to do a little bit more. We have the attack break right now, so definitely not going to be doing all too much damage. We still have the Zeratul on the field, however. But Zeratul has to be doing a lot of work killing that many units in this case.
Definitely can when there's a defense break set up for him right now. Can look to go into it, confirm your kill on the segment. An additional turn would have been very nice, though.
Absolutely, but also on the other side, the Audrey is doing a lot of work. You can definitely stun the Audrey in this case. No, goes for the stun on the Gojo. Gojo can't get skills off. Armor break. Can you let the armor break? Does not connect the armor break. He so much needed the armor break because with an armor break, it would have been a 12 into a double 6. You could have taken out the unit right there.
You can look to put some more damage in right now. Are you going into the Gojo? You do, but it's not. Oh!
Ooh, dots. Are we looking at 3 dots? We are counting 3 dots, and that is a kill confirmed right there. If you take another additional turn, you can potentially stun something. Does not get the stun right there. But I think Zeratul might be able to do this. It's going to be difficult, but I can see Zeratul win in this case.
Yep, how's he going to be doing it now? He's got that skill 1, got the attack buff coming in. Do you go into the Mi Ying, or do you have to take out that Audrey first?
It is hard to say. Audrey is the main healer. But then again, the Mi Ying, ooh, that is good damage. That's half HPing a Mi Ying right there. How much healing is this going to be? Oh, it actually does go for the defense, and because of that, you should have maybe been focusing the other units first. How much damage is that? That's actually not that much damage, and the 2 units just plowing in way more damage that way.
Oh, Audrey coming in clutch there for Best Spoon, taking that first set against Crispy Bacon there. We're set up for it, say. This could be another 4-0 right here. I mean, just looking at that, very good draft from Best Spoon. Managing to work around that Lydia. Knew it was going to allow it to be on the field, but didn't take out so much damage.
Yeah, I would have been like, knowing from the league days itself, I was expecting more damage, and therefore I was actually favoring the Crispy Bacon draft over the Best Spoon draft. But in the end, Best Spoon knows his units best. He did know that he could survive long enough. The Audrey came in super clutch. There's a lot of healing coming into that unit. Also, the moment you focus something else, there's still that defense. There's just so much defense on that unit altogether. Sure, the Zeratul had a good chance, but it needed to go for that Audrey first. And the big issue is there were a lot of units to deal with on the side of Best Spoon.
Definitely was. We've got pre-bans coming out then, Ragdoll and that Light Gojo. Ragdoll being pre-ban means that you can probably even look to take an Etna at some point. Crispy Bacon locking in fast, though, with that Chandra and the Gianna right there.
This is a position where you could definitely go for Gio. This is what we have seen on ladder. These 3 units on the side of Best Spoon are the kind of the new holy trinity of the previous balance patch. Not sure if they're going to be of the current balance patch as well. Athena, I'm not 100% sure about because you already have a faster... I'm not too sure about neither of those because the enemy is already showing a 33 lead. If they add another 24 lead and another fast unit, you're going to get outsped. But is that something that Best Spoon can find in his draft right now?
Exactly. He's had the 24 from Light Gojo taken away from him right there. But we know he's got some high base speed units. There's a Laura potentially still to come out for him as well.
Plus, he could go for the Megami. If he goes for Fire Megami right now, you have a 28 lead. So I don't really see a potential. Ooh, actually goes, which is also a really strong unit, into the Athena and the Juno. So actually goes for more bruiser route.
Yeah, he's bruising it out right now. Crispy Bacon probably needs to continue with a bit more speed.
Yeah, let's see if he continues all the way with more speed, because in the end, all 4 units on the field have a little bit of a struggle against both the Light Pony and the Juno for taking those out. So I'm not 100% sure if that is going to be working for that. But then again, do you go for your own kind of bruiser unit? No, actually adds in that speed lead with the Sierra. Let's see if we're banning out any of those high-speed contesting units.
Let's see who is going to be making it through right here. 1-0 up currently for Best Spoon right now. If he can look to extend that lead again, the momentum just keeps on going. Sekhmet being taken out, and that Ciara. So we've got 24 lead against a 33 in our Summoners War European League playoffs. Round 2, match 2 between Crispy Bacon and Best Spoon. How much damage can you get through before that Unicorn takes a turn?
Well, the big thing is you actually have to go skill 3 into a Sonya skill 2, because I don't think you're going to take this out. That thing looks like so much HP right there. And definitely on the Oliver right now, you're not going to be taking it out because of the Oliver being that fast. However, there is still the AoE stun. AoE stun does connect. Gianna's finally doing what Gianna's supposed to do right there. And Chandra can follow that up if it's not being stunned.
And there's no stuns coming out from right there, so we can get a bit more attack bar manipulation coming through. Chandra can look to push you up. We've got that skill 2 coming, and you've deleted a unit as well. Best Spoon, not looking good here.
Not looking good, but then again, there's still a Juno plus a Unicorn on the field. The Unicorn is being slowed, so it definitely will take a little bit of time. Also with that bomb, this Gianna is definitely doing what Gianna's supposed to do. But we also have a Juno that is still super strong that you have to take off the field.
Yep, you do. And can it just survive long enough to make sure that it's not going to happen? Skill 3 right now, get some healing through stuns.
Oh, we did get stuns on the 2 units that are not wind, so that's definitely very favorable. But we also have Sonya's skill 2 coming up next turn. We actually have a lot of turn denial right there. Do you go for the skill 2 to get the skill? Yep. Oh, does not have 100% activation rate and did not activate just there. Speed, or the slow right there, made it that there's more of a speed gap between that Sonya and the Jongnam actually taking it out.
Big stun as well right there, and managing to take out that Etna. Oh, it's still alive at the moment.
It is still alive at that moment. The moment you take out... The dangerous thing is the Juno skill 1. Juno skill 1, or the Gianna skill 1, is the dangerous thing for Juno, because if there's enough Gianna skill 1s on that Juno, you still tend to do a lot of damage. I'm not too sure about that skill 3 right there, because I think that bomb would have done enough the moment that he went for a change anyway. So let's see if you can take out... Ooh, that's a good 2.5k per hit.
Oh, it is right there. But you're getting a bit more healing with that slow debuff coming out onto the Juno right now. Like you said, Juno, it could be the one.
It could be the one, but then again, Chandra skill 1 does plow in a lot of damage. And this is the position, even a miss from a crit on the side of a Sonya would take it out. But Chandra takes that credit, takes out the Juno.
Crispy Bacon managing to take 1 point against Best Spoon there right then. I mean, Juno was nearly going to come in clutch, but like you said, just too much skill 1 damage from a lot of the units on Crispy Bacon. The Gianna, the Chandra coming in and hitting hard. He's got that light Gojo back in this next round. Likely to see it there. Crispy Bacon, how do you respond?
I definitely do think that in the draft for Best Spoon last time around, he went for Bruiser sides in the 4 and 5. I think he should have been more speed contesting in that sense, because in the end, he already had an upper hand in the speed leads. He had a 33 speed lead in there. He could have added the 28 and another fast unit and actually take something out. Whereas now he was just waiting. It's like, okay, Sonya, how much can I survive? Athena, how much can I survive? And that's always kind of dangerous to do.
Definitely is dangerous. You've got that first pick. Again, Oliver coming in, 33% speed lead, been doing so much during our Summoners War European League. Vanessa, a little bit more actually in these playoffs so far. Like Gojo being there, who are you going to be looking to partner with? Again, we haven't seen Laura all too much.
Yeah, maybe Laura Nerf actually has been hitting it harder than some of us might give it credit for. I definitely do think that Best Spoon has been trying it out, but if he's not showing it, he's definitely not comfortable in drafting it. Maybe it's more of a 4 or 5 pick for him right now. It actually goes for super early Volantis. I'm not a big fan, because this would be, for me, Nobara, Juno, and we see how the rest of the match goes.
Exactly. Any additional turns, again, half the health going out from the side of Best Spoon right there. It's a very, very early pick. Is it just trying to lean into pick counters already, though?
That's also, Ragdoll is really good. How about a Nobara Ragdoll? Because that Gojo is on 45 crit rate against against the right element.
Yeah, Tian Lang coming in response from Best Spoon right here. I mean, sometimes don't always use your shinies that early.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about the Ragdoll if it's actually, or the Tian Lang if it's really countering anything. And once again, at this position, Juno and Nobara, it looks super strong. Ban the 5th, I think you have an amazing draft sitting at you. As long as you survive the Gianna bomb, that's where we have the Nobara. Do we also lock in the Juno right here? Or do you maybe go for something along the lines that does a similar thing? I think Juno would do it best in this case.
Exactly, Juno. You want to cleanse yourself, maybe not a Veramus, because if you're cleansing everyone else on the field, it's quite annoying for that Nobara. And Crispy Bacon has been listening to you say right there. I mean, Good call.
And I think this is going to be, well, whatever you lock in the 5th, that's going to be for sure banned. On the other side, you have to be careful with that Nobara. Nobara has to go from the draft. On the side of Crispy Bacon, I only don't really like the Dark Megami. It doesn't have enough potential for really setting up for anyone too much or getting turns at the right moment, I think.
Whoa.
Ooh, we have the Nobara still being on the field, whereas Best Spoon is not showing any sign of healing. And this is not a normal Nobara, this is a Ragdoll Nobara. Sure, the Tian Lang is there to kind of deal with that, but is that going to be enough?
Let's find out. You need to get some strips in here right now. Oh, this is the moment.
This half a Ragdoll is still a Ragdoll right there.
Whoa, full defense breaks across the board there as well.
And that's just so much work. Also, if you push back the right units right now, did not connect the reset, so we'll have an off turn of that. This Ragdoll is deleting units right there. It's like, oh yeah, the Nobara can do a lot of damage. No, 17k skill 1 on the Ragdoll. Crispy Bacon is showing the world how to ruin a Ragdoll right here.
Definitely is, and look at that 2-turn glancing coming in on that Nobara right now. A Tian Lang isn't going to be able to take it out.
No, at this point, I'm pretty sure you can grab auto, or you just press auto, and you can grab a drink and come back and you see victory in your screen. Because this Nobara, 2 turns, if you go for skill 2 right now, oh, another 2 turns. You're going to be losing 75% of your HP to just this Nobara right now. You don't have any heals.
No, and wow, Ragdoll coming in with a 17k first hit right there. And you, again, oh my god, Nobara.
Yeah, the Nobara Ragdoll, oh, additional turn. Now you're all at 1 HP. Well, guys, we can take goodbye. Nobara with Ragdoll, I love that combination. I want to see more of that. That is so strong.
I mean, we had it for a couple of seasons back with the old Gap doll coming around. Have we got a Gap Nara?
Well, the thing is,
Nara.
Nobara, like a Gapdoll, you could draft around any kind of way and it can still kind of go for a Gapdoll. Nobara is enabled by yourself. You draft the AoEs and therefore they're like, well, then you drafted the AoEs. Let me respond to that. So is Nobara the most OP unit in the game. No, just keep that in mind. It's the same thing as you're drafting. You keep in mind, if I draft this right now, I'm open to Douglas. If I draft this right now, I'm open to Antares. If I draft this right now, I'm open to Diana. We also add to the pile, if I draft this right now, I am open to that with Nobara.
Exactly, and that's why we've seen the respect ban coming out there on that Ragdoll. It was hitting so hard right there. The Light Gojo also coming out. Best-Boon locking in that Oliver. Crispy Bacon taking his own speed lead with that Chandra. And again, a Gianna coming out.
Yep. Definitely, Oliver is one of those units which also disable a Nobara for doing well. It's like, sure, you want to take your turns? No, let me take that attack bar from you. So there's a lot of counters to that. So this is where you would say Nobara doesn't do that well. But this is again where Crispy Bacon is locking in speed units into your enemy already having 33 plus a speed unit. So I'm not really sure if that is the right play.
We've got Snipe coming out. We've got that Dark Megumi. Is this even a moment again for Nobara on the other side of the field? You've got some defense breaks, AoE slows from Chandra. You've got the stuns coming out. I mean, am I crazy that I could say you could draft it anywhere?
There's a decent amount of options, but I don't think it's going to be as strong right now. Also, the Pater is once again where Best-Boon went for more of a Bruiser style in his 4 and 5, which kind of set him on the back foot last time as well.
Here we are, Ciara coming in. Crispy Bacon currently 2-1 up. Reverse sweep has started. I mean, are we going to see another 4-1? The pattern might not be there fully for us, which is a bit disappointing. But again, these players vying to get through to tomorrow. Sekhmet being banned out as well as the Ciara, so we're going to get speed leads for both Crispy Bacon and Best-Boon. It's our Summoners War European League playoffs, set 4. Who is going to be taking that extra point right now? And Sonya, have you got enough?
Definitely not enough. There's not too much speed gap, but in the end, it is still kind of looking like enough because the chip damage is just there. Sure, you can survive it, but surviving is not the whole thing. You're looking at a 1% HP. Ooh, actually survives it. If there was one more crit, he would have actually lived. But then again, the stunts do come in right there. And we have the additional turn, but the additional turn did not do too much except for taking a little bit of chap damage right there.
Exactly, couldn't strip, so we can't get the Oliver reset. But you can get some stuns right now if you're looking to go for that skill 2. Can you get an extra few? No? Just going, wow, 2.2k hits.
That's already good damage right there. Big question right now, do you take out the unit? Goes for the skill 3. Does take out the unit. Good damage right there. It is also double debuff on the side of the Juno right now, which will go for healing. Unless the Pater decides, I'm going to cleanse that off. So Pater, do you go for the skill 2, a little bit of chip damage, or are you going to be cleansing?
Let's find out right now. Chandra just putting in some more damage. That's a good 10k hit on those skill 1s right now.
Absolutely, and this once again shows where Best-Boon goes for switching a speed draft into a bruiser draft in the 4 and 5. It's just not really working in his favor thus far. Match isn't over yet, especially not with that stun, but we have an additional turn. Also potential leading in a stun. However, this stun might be cleansed by the Pater.
Exactly. Even if you're doing damage, a skill 1, I think, from that Juno is probably enough to take out that Megumi. And it is. So it is against 3 versus 3 right now.
Big question right now, where are you going to put your damage? Are you going to try to stun anything? Nope, just a little bit more chip damage. Another additional turn for that Chandra. And it's working towards seeing if that Juno can solo at a later moment. Actually resisted on that. Does go for the skill 3. Are we looking at provokes on this Sonya? Sonya is not provoked. Does take the additional little bit of healing. Sonya is still far away from her skills, but skill 1 does do a good amount of damage too.
So much defend going out there, but perfect stun.
Yeah, that's actually a really crazy stun. The only wrong element was actually stunned over there. And we do have Sonya getting closer and closer to her skill 2. But then again, the skill 2 is just not there yet. If you go for skill 1 right now, it is a little bit of slow, but actually does not crit.
Oh, look at that. Skill 1 taking out the Juno from her right now. I mean, looks like Best-Boon is managed to take that extra point to bring it back to a 2-2 right now. Wow, Juno coming in so clutch.
Juno rocking in a 2.7k on that branding. It's just so much damage right there. And Juno in the end did make it work, but it was still a little bit of a risky draft from Crispy Bacon, or on the side of Best-Boon, because the bruisering side, it is dangerous. You lose pretty much 1 unit straight off the bat, and then you're just bruisering it out. And if you kind of have like a very strong setup of a 3 against 4 where you just snipe out other units yourself, it is mostly fine. But if you're bruisering 3 against 4, it is a dangerous match that you're playing.
Definitely is right there. And we know that Ragdoll is back in the picture potentially in that next match as well as the Light Gojo here. Pre-bans likely to come in, and I mean, there's so many shinies in the box of Best-Boon. Like, where are you going next?
Well, actually has been banning out the Segment, because Segment is one of those units that is enabling a lot. In this case, actually goes for a Jongnam that also has been enabling a lot. So let's see what he would like to go for first pick right now, because this is actually the position where Crispy Bacon could go for all of his dark units that he so likes to play.
Exactly. We've seen a Chandra, I think, as well earlier to get like a 24 speed lead coming in from the side of Crispy Bacon. But how are you going to look to play it now? Again, going back for that Chandra.
Yep, going back for the Chandra, and this side we most likely see a Segment plus a light Gojo. That's mostly the opener that Best Spoon likes to go for. No, actually goes for an early Bruiser style right there. Oh. And that is where we see the Ragdoll once again coming in.
Yeah, but quick response by that Sekhmet coming out from Best Spoon right there can look to try and get a cool time. We know it's built very, very fast as well. Do you need to lock in another speed? Oh, wow, okay, we're going Bruise.
We're definitely going full Bruiser, but this is the potential where I would say Crispy Bacon could go for a Gianna plus Lydia. Lydia in the end did not do enough damage. It did not show as much damage as we've seen in the League days itself, but the Gianna definitely shows strong value in here.
Definitely does show the value, but this is a moment where if you've got some more dark units, get that Gianna out, maybe even Zeratu as well.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those options. You want to go for damage in that final position. However, that Ragdoll is a great damage dealer as well.
Zeratu following up as well right now. That's a beautiful looking draft just on just on imagery alone right there with the new units, the new thumbnails there. Juno coming out as well, so he is going to be opting to bruise it right now, sir.
Would you respect the Audrey in this case? Because the main healer in the team of Best Spoon is actually that Audrey. If she does enough damage, she's healing the allies very strong. Then again, Juno has been showing a lot of potential. Same for that Mi Ying, so there's a lot of good ban options on the side of Best Spoon.
Definitely is right now, and this is maybe a clutch moment. If you can get 3-2, puts you within striking distance of getting that final set win to carry on through to tomorrow right now. Zeratu and Mi Ying being banned out there instead, so speed leads for both Crispy Bacon and Best Spoon. To Summoners War European League playoffs, match 2. This is set 5 now between these guys. Sekhmet, are you going to land on that Gianna?
Does not connect, where we saw the Gianna of Slay not perform. The Gianna of Crispy Bacon is taking all of that with getting full on stunts, getting the resistance in, getting the bomb. Do we get armor break? We get a full armor break. Ragdoll, where is your damage going to be, and how much damage is going to be? Are you going to be taking out the Juno? Oh, he can take it out. That's going to be so much damage. We're looking at 19.9k taking out that Juno.
Wow, Ragdoll. He's built different right there. You can cleanse all of this stuff right now, but I think it's all she wrote.
I think so as well, because the moment you stun the Audrey cannot really go for the passive that she normally likes to use. You go for AoE slow. There's just so much work, and Ragdoll just whittled down units here against Audrey, very high on the base defense. That's actually the position. I would go for double skill 1, because you have that extra dot damage, but in the end, it did not really matter, because it just did so much work. And a lot of players are saying like, my Ragdoll's not good anymore. It doesn't reflect. Who needs reflect if you do this much damage?
Exactly, and I mean, in all honesty, Best Spoon right there must be hating his gold Sekhmet right now, because that's set up for Crispy Bacon to get everything off right there. Gianna being banned out, like Gojo being banned out as well. 3-2, you're within one set win right now.
Yeah, he's definitely looking very close, and this might go all the way best of 5, because it's actually going very back and forth between the two players, all from the side of Best Spoon this time again. Let's see what Crispy Bacon is going for. Once again, that Dark Megumi. And it's actually one of those units. Dark Megumi on paper is super strong, but a lot of people cannot really make it work. Well, Crispy Bacon definitely can.
Yep, AoE defense breaks, all the other debuffs that have come out as well. I mean, setting up for this guy to come in and smash a 19k through on a skill 2 defense break. I mean, this is still a super dangerous draft coming in from Crispy Bacon.
I'm not too sure about the Twin Ages. Sure, it's also a setup for a Ragdoll in a kind of shape or way. It is a little bit of a sense for a strip. But is it really going to do too much in the draft that you're playing? Because it's bad into the Oliver, it's bad into the Jongnam, and Sekhmet can also reset it. So I'm not really liking the Twin Angels in that slot 4 right there.
No, and especially Best Spoon bringing another resetter with that Veronica right now. But there's a Ratu coming out on the side of Crispy Bacon. It's, again, more damage if it can get going, but Sekhmet's not going to miss again, right?
No, probably not. But also you have the chance of the Veronica landing. Plus that Pontus is looking very strong. The moment that the Zeratu is off the field, it is going to be very difficult to actually strip through this Pontus.
Let's find out. Speed leads going in. This is crunch time. Can Crispy Bacon take that extra point and make his way through to tomorrow? Or what has Best Spoon got to say? What has his Sekhmet got to say about it?
Sekhmet didn't say that much, and we actually have a cut once again by the Ragdoll. We have an armor break setup potential. Ragdoll is nowhere near going to be moving from this skill. Actually, did not manage to land the armor break right there, but I think that the push of the Chandra is not going to be enough to making the units move. However, we have the Megami not being reset right now. How much do you have to say about this? Do you land the armor breaks? Do you land the pushback? So far, it's landing everything. Can actually, once again, the Ragdoll is just setting up everyone for success. It's just working out so well.
Wow. Crispy Bacon coming in clutch right now. I mean, Best-Spoon is going to play this out, obviously. Oliver's going to have to do a lot of work here in controlling that team.
It is all about the Sekhmet. Sekhmet skill 2 right now. Are you a Neftis? It was okay. At least we got the heal blocks everywhere. Armor break on 2 high-value targets. But the dangerous thing with hitting a Ragdoll all the time is, do you actually want to do it?
Yeah, and look at this. Once that Ragdoll doesn't have any of the glancing coming through, he's going to be hitting super hard again. But Oliver has to control them.
Oliver has to do a lot of controlling work over here, and preferably not crit. There's 2 jobs on that one. Sure, a lot of silence coming out, but actually not connecting the silence on those Twin Angels.
Yeah, and we've got a cool time. You're going to get it. This is playing dangerously, right? You're into the zone.
Well, then again, you have a silence, so even if he takes an additional turn, the silence is there. So that part is controlled, and taking out that Ragdoll, I think, is the right play, because you're taking out the main damage dealer right there. But then again, this Ragdoll's gonna take a turn.
It is, and it's probably going to be in... Oh!
Ooh, did not take it out, but took the additional turn for 16k on that armor break. Just so much damage once again. And it's Oliver against the rule, because the Pontus is not really participating that much, except for the silence and the invisibility. But the invisibility doesn't mean that much. Oliver skill 2, you have to go for the Ragdoll right now.
You have to land it, because otherwise, if he's taking a turn... Oh, deciding against it. What if he takes a turn?
If the Pontus... Does the Pontus have the invisibility up? Does actually have the invisibility up. But it was clutch, though. If you land the wrong crit at the wrong moment, you might still have been taking a turn. Oliver is definitely a unit that will shake off his invisibility, because if you hit this on the Ragdoll right now, invisibility is gone.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, you can see that he's got that skill. Wow. Okay, wrong moment.
Wrong moment, but the thing is, oh, this Oliver is actually working very well on the Despair thus far. But being on Despair also has a weakness. If you miss one skill at one given moment, which was exactly there, Oliver is gonna have an off turn. There is still, yep, he knew the Ragdoll was coming. And once again, simply showing Ragdoll is strong. You don't need that reflex. You just need a lot of damage and a setup.
That was so much damage coming from the skill 1, skill 2, 17Ks, 19Ks hitting through right there. I mean, it kind of just played into Crispy Bacon's hands in the end. The moment that he was getting attacked, oh, yeah, all of my attack bars going to go up a little bit, and I can come and cut you. But I mean, Best-Spoon couldn't quite carry the momentum through right there, but I think he showed a very much a better showing than what he had in that league as well. Really putting it down, 4-1 in that first match. Here, took it all the way to a 4-2, still something to be proud of, but Crispy Bacon against Charge in that next match for tomorrow is going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an interesting one. And also, I want to say that the Oliver was on Despair, which I'm personally not a big fan of. The moment you miss one skill, normally with Violent, you could have your moments back like, oh, I missed a skill, but I still get my third skill in. I still get my second skill in. Despair, it might happen, but in the end, the unit I wanted to see Despair was that Ragdoll. It was doing so much damage.
Definitely was doing so much damage right there, and it's all... Hopefully Charge has been watching as well, because he's going to be having to deal with that Ragdoll tomorrow in our
That's
second
not
day
where you
playoffs.
want to put an F now, that is for sure. Also, actually, both of them have a Ragdoll, so it might be a Ragdoll contest where Charge normally only picks the Ragdoll if it's really fitting, but right now you might actually pick it because it's a steal.
Yep, exactly. And you can see we're set up for tomorrow right there. Pinkroyd and Malignant, and then Charge and Crispy Bacon in what's going to be 4 matches to find out who is our Summoners War European League champion of 2025. Commiserations today for, obviously, Scribblebibble, Tech, Slay, and Best-Spoon. But they were 4 of the top competitors from the league from the past 7 weeks. Sadly, we're not going to see any more of them, but I'm sure they can count themselves proud in terms of what they've put on display for us today. And a big thank you for taking part right there. Before going through to tomorrow, there's prize money on the line, sir.
Yeah, there's only one player not walking away with prize money, or does everyone
everyone does.
Everyone get prize money. So if you made it this far, you're guaranteed prize money. So that's already good. But then again, you want to get more prize money.
Oh, yeah, you want to get more of these packs at the moment, especially with these 11-year anniversary scrolls.
Yeah,
just telling you.
Your Ragdoll might be in there.
Exactly, and if you've got a Ragdoll that's hitting like any of these guys, you're going to be having so much fun. And obviously, what's there for you? Some coupons. We've got another coupon for you today. The Road to Final. Road to Final. 100 energy and 3 mystical scrolls. Maybe there's one of the new units. you can maybe summon it along the way. And remember, tomorrow we're going to be back here at 2 o'clock European time for the last 4 matches. Pinkroyd, Malignant, Charge, Crispy Bacon, 2 Germans, 1 Dutch,
and 1 French.
Wow, we've got a good mix there going into this one right here. I mean, it's not quite tiny for the SWC where it's going to be in Paris. Only one of them French, but Germans holding up strong.
Absolutely, absolutely. So definitely very much looking forward to those matches. And I'm also very sure Pinkroyd and Malignant have been watching these matches thus far, because the one that loses from the match of Pinkroyd and Malignant has to be playing against either Charge or Crispy Bacon.
Yeah, exactly. And then if they win that one, they're back up against that opponent from the beginning right there. I mean, crazy few matches today. Like, honestly, didn't imagine we'd see so many like 4-0s, 4-1s, 4-2s. It wasn't as close in the end. Maybe it will be tomorrow, or...
Yeah, maybe so. Like, most of the time, actually, when we had in SWC, we all the way went on best of 7 for the finals. But this time around, we haven't seen all the way best of 7 just yet. However, this is all there is for us for today, and we're definitely back tomorrow, and so should you.
Exactly. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 o'clock. Be there or be square.